How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the TimcastIRL podcast. I am Tim Pool, and I am joined by...
What's up? I'm Adam Krigler. How you doing? And also...
The Invisible Lydia.
Yes,
Invisible
Lydia on the camera. How's it going? We got a couple really interesting stories. The first one, it's actually a bunch of stories having to do with the aircraft carrier, the Theodore Roosevelt, the evacuation of of the sailors on the ship, which now they say the U.S. is struggling, and China is now sending an aircraft carrier near Japan, which results in the U.S. doing, what is it called, an elephant walk?
Yeah, an elephant walk.
A show of force in Guam.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, obviously, World War III, baby, is meant to be tongue-in-cheek. Everyone realized that. I see people in the chat like, how dare you say that? I'm kidding, man. I don't mean the world is ending. But
no, well, you said it, so it must be true.
I did. Yep,
yeah.
it's a fact.
Fearmonger.
But also... they're saying that I have the story. I didn't actually read it, but they're saying the dude got fired from the aircraft carrier for lying about their position.
Whoa.
Because, like, didn't he go to Guam or something? I saw a bunch of people saying that he basically admitted the ship was in trouble, exposing a weakness of the U.S. Navy. Like, at a time when China is pressing on, you know, these like, they just sank a Vietnamese fishing vessel.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
dude, we're getting something, like, I don't know. Look, maybe this stuff happens all the time. I don't know. But we got a bunch of other stories, too. Excuse me. We've got some interesting stuff we can talk about. This is, women might get drafted now because the final the final verdict was that women should have to draft. But that's more to do with, you know, we'll talk about potential for war and stuff. Then we've got this experimental coronavirus treatment. They're actually extracting people's blood, oxygenating it, putting it back. It's kind of weird. We were asking about that, I guess, and someone brought it up.
It's not too crazy. I mean, it's dialysis for oxygen.
Yeah.
I guess it's
Right?
dangerous, though.
Dialysis for the lungs.
Yeah, so it's like lungs and heart in one, and it gives those organs a chance to rest, which is
Oh,
really
okay.
interesting.
It's called extracorporeal membrane oxygenation.
Yeah.
So could you technically just not breathe while you're on that machine? Because that would be weird.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
I
it?
mean,
if you could just like not breathe and be fine.
That'd be
I guess
super
it's
strange.
dangerous.
I don't know.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now- now-
No.
I got really bad news for everybody.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
what is it?
Great.
So the next study they're doing, because of course, no matter what happens, some researcher is going to come out and be like, it's worse than everyone thought. They're saying social distancing may be needed until 2022. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. At this point, I'm not buying it. Although,
Yeah, I don't think so.
you see what's going on, like Michigan.
No, what's happening there?
There's gonna be a bunch of protests because the governor.
There is protests, aren't there?
Well, so there are protests in a lot of places. Like, this is really funny in Raleigh, was it North Carolina?
Yeah, Raleigh.
Yeah.
Raleigh. So they yelled at protesters, told them to go home, and then someone asked, like, what did they do wrong? And the police tweeted, "Protesting is a non-essential activity" or something.
Yeah.
And I've never wanted to protest more in my life. I'm like,
I
dude,
agree.
That's constitutional amendment 1.
Yeah, number one.
it is.
We're allowed to do this.
That is
Totally.
top of the list,
That's
man.
pretty
All right.
nuts, man.
Now here's the
They're
best part,
asking
though.
for it.
Here's the
Right.
best part.
I am so happy about this.
The next segment we have after all this is Amber Heard took a poop on Johnny Depp's bed, and she might go to jail.
I want to sign this petition. I
Four-
will gladly sign this petition.
400,000 people to want her removed from Aquaman 2.
Yes.
But
Listen
yeah,
to the
so
fans.
Johnny
Right.
Depp's fans. This is the latest update is that Johnny Depp's fans want her to face jail time after a video surfaced showing prominent bruise. So look, she reportedly pooped in his bed. Like that's like
What?
That's certifiable, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nutso.
Yep, that's
Nutso.
crazy.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
You poop
So-
in someone's
so-
bed, you got some screws loose.
Yeah,
Well,
just a few.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. It's like if someone came to me and said, this woman is beating me, I'd be like, what's your proof? There's poop in my bed. I'd be like, after that, I believe everything you say about this woman.
She's totally
Well,
crazy.
I guess you have to prove the poop is hers.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's not hard to do.
How do you
It's
do?
a sample right there.
Ma'am, we're going to need a swab of your mouth and a swab of the poop in the bed to prove it's your DNA.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not making that up. That's in the story.
That is
Although
crazy.
they say defecated.
Oh,
Of
how
course.
nice. Yes.
What
a
if,
scientific term.
do you ever watch It's Always Sunny?
I've seen it like
What-
the first season.
It's been so long, but there was like Frank and Charlie wake up and it's the episode Who Pooped the Bed?
Oh, God.
And they're both accusing each other of having done it. I wonder if like Amber Heard accidentally did it and then like tried, like she was embarrassed, so she had to pretend like she did it on purpose.
Well, I guess it was it above the sheets or below the sheets?
Oh, no. And I don't want to know.
Dude, I'll admit,
I'm putting my detective skills at work here.
Oh, man.
it's way more fun to talk about Amber Heard
Oh,
pooping in Johnny Depp's bed than it is to talk about,
Yes.
aircraft carriers and stuff. But I gotta admit, I care more about the military stuff than I care
Amber
about.
Turd. That's great. Thank you, chat. I saw that.
Yes.
You guys are
All
great.
right,
you.
all right, all right, all right. We're having fun,
Focus,
aren't we? So
whatever.
if you're just joining in, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. You can follow us. Our usernames are above our heads.
Yes,
And
look
you
at
can
that.
jump in the super chat. We will read your comment, or at least we'll try to read as many as we can. Usually when too many people come in, it gets really hard, so we'll read as many as we can. But if too many super chats come in, we start reading the larger numbers. I hate to do it that way. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's kind of how things play out. But why don't we...
Yeah, we only got 2 hours, so
we only got
Yeah,
2
it's
hours,
true. No.
and as much it does kind of seem like a long time, but
it does. But
just
then
flies.
it's always we're done. It's like
Oh my
jeez.
gosh.
and it ends.
yeah.
We,
All right.
we end kind of abruptly. It's like, would you look at that? All right, well, see you later.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah. So
Well, it leaves you hanging and
That's
you
right. You
want
gotta come
more.
back tomorrow.
so
Right?
let's start with the story. Let's see what's going on over at military.com. They say China sends aircraft carrier near Japan, Taiwan, as U.S. Navy struggles with coronavirus. Now, the way I see this is, you got to, I think everybody wants to be very careful about how they phrase things.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm obviously way over the top in my title. Like, it's the end. Rah, like, literally just a boat passing by and people wave to each other. But there's escalating tensions that have been going on for a really long time, especially in the South China Sea.
Yeah.
And it's not just physical war, it's cultural war. I can't remember what movie it was. I think this was like a Pixar film. It was like a viral thing where like a little girl walks past a map, and then the map shows the South China Sea has dotted lines around it, which is China's claim to the South China Sea. And it was in like a Disney film.
Yeah, I forgot. They went back and changed it in a kid's movie.
Yeah, what movie was that?
I forget.
I'm
What
sure
they
that-
like added it after the fact?
Yeah, they went back and,
Yeah.
and changed
Seriously?
the map for
because they were
China.
using Chinese animators, and so they were like, China says
man.
ours. So it's this is what people have to understand about the moves that are happening in this
Yeah.
region, that they lasered us. Apparently like showing
Yeah.
they have us locked on target or whatever. They sank a fishing vessel. They've been doing that.
Yeah, when did that happen? I
That was like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
We
they
talked
sank-
about it. They sank a Vietnamese fishing vessel.
Right, right.
So, I mean, tensions are there. And now with the U.S., Theodore Roosevelt evacuating all of these personnel because of COVID, and the tensions with the commander of the ship or the captain or whatever, there's these are all moves meant to like poke and prod. So this is the story, right? They say that China sends an aircraft carrier. You got to understand, at least as far as I can tell, and I'm not like an expert on what China is doing, but it feels like a prod.
I
It
agree.
feels like they just flicked our ear. Like, what are you going to do about it? You gonna do anything?
Or
You
just
know what I
like
mean?
taking taking one step over the line.
Yep.
And then seeing what we do. Oh, you're not doing anything? All right, I'll fully stand here now. I'm not going back. I'm just pushing a little further in. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
There's a mosquito.
Oh no, you gonna kill it?
No, I couldn't. He got away.
I'll see if I can get him.
All right.
The UFO
Anyway.
will get him.
Yeah, the UFO will get him. All right, check this out. They say Japan and Taiwan kept watch on the Chinese aircraft carrier Liaoning and its strike group as they streamed through the Miyako Strait and past Taiwan over the weekend, according to the Japanese Ministry of Defense and published reports Monday. The Liaoning and 5 accompanying warships passed through the 155-mile wide strait halfway between the Japanese islands of Okinawa and Miyako on Saturday, turned south and passed east of Taiwan on Sunday, according to reports. The strait is wide enough to qualify as an international waterway. The Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force tracked the Chinese aircraft carrier, 2 guided missile destroyers, 2 multi-role warships, and 1 supply-class fast combat support ship as they passed 262 miles southwest of Nagasaki's Danjo Islands about 7 p.m. Friday, according to a Defense Ministry Joint Staff official.
Whoa, that's more than just
It's just-
one aircraft
right.
carrier that
Yep.
that I thought it was.
It was a
man.
strike group.
Yeah.
I don't. So is it a show of force?
That's what it seems a little
we
bit like.
responded.
Yeah.
Like we did what they call. What you mentioned, it was like an elephant walk.
An elephant walk.
Yeah, we were like, look at our guns.
Well, actually, I don't know. I've read into this, and I don't know if it was response to this. I mean, that does make sense timing wise, but it also makes sense that they had to take everything off the ship because the ship was coronavirus basically.
Oh, yeah,
They
yeah.
got it, so they had to like take everything off.
So when was this? So the Elephant Walk, this was the 13th, and the report of the China destroyer, this was the 13th as well. It's happening at the same time.
Same time, yeah, exactly.
So it's not just China going like, trying to make you flinch.
Yeah, I think
we're
it's
both doing it to each other. We're both
Yeah.
going like, lunging at each other.
flexing it,
Yeah.
What you got? What you
You,
got?
you ever have somebody like lunge at you real quick, try to make you flinch?
Yeah, I
Like
see
two
that.
dudes
Yeah.
at the same time, then they bunk their heads. That's what it seems like. Ooh.
You
know?
think we'll get lucky and they'll just knock each other out?
Yeah,
That wouldn't be lucky.
World War III.
Because then the third party nearby is going to freak out and fire a missile, and then all of a sudden everyone's firing missiles, and then everyone's lost their minds.
Well, I guess the fight wouldn't happen because they would just knock each other out, headbutt.
No, but it would be like two guys flinching at each other, but with like 30 guys behind them gearing up to fight.
Yeah.
And then when they both get hit, the other people have no idea who hit who, so they go, and they start swinging and punching each
Yeah.
other. And
Well, in that situation, it sounds bad.
Yeah, it does not sound good.
all right, check this out. Here's what they say. Around 4 p.m. Saturday, the carrier and its group streamed through the strait. According to the official, some Japanese government spokespersons traditionally speak under the condition of anonymity. We continuously checked those ships by sea and air, the official said. The Taiwanese Navy also sent ships from Suao to monitor the strike group as it passed the island on Sunday, according to the South China Morning Post, which cited the Taiwan Ministry of Defense. The 6 vessels sailed east of Taiwan, according to the Japanese outlet Sankei News, which also cited the Taiwan Defense Ministry. The Liaoning is the only aircraft carrier currently in the Western Pacific. However, the USS America, a smaller amphibious assault ship that carries F-35B Lightning II stealth fighters, is underway in the East China Sea, according to its official Facebook page. Okay, they announced on Facebook, we're heading there to the sea. The U.S. carriers Theodore Roosevelt and Ronald Reagan are in port, both dealing to some extent with the novel coronavirus. The Roosevelt is sidelined in Guam, where much of the crew are undergoing isolation to stem a coronavirus outbreak.
Yeah, that's where the Elephant Walk is, in Guam. So that makes sense.
Yeah, so maybe they're doing it because the ship's
It's a twofer.
crippled, basically. So they're
Yeah.
like, we want to flex our muscles.
Yeah, look what we got. Don't mess with
That
us.
sounds like, it sounds pretty obvious that, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a dude with a broken leg flexing his muscle, like, look how strong I am. It's like, dude, your leg's busted.
Yeah, but
we know.
chase me. I'm running away with your stuff. Now what?
I'm
Yeah.
running away with your
Yeah.
stuff.
Your leg's broken.
Check this out. So this was the story that was reported the other day. U.S. Navy evacuates over 80% of USS Theodore Roosevelt crew as nearly 600 carrier sailors test positive coronavirus. So this is brought up in the story. They say, as of Sunday, 4,309 Roosevelt crew members had been tested for the virus, of which 585 tested positive, according to a Navy update. About 400 sailors awaited testing.
Do they have that many crew members at one time? 4,000?
That's a huge
I
group
mean,
of people.
I don't know if they're all stationed at the same time. You know, they could have like revolving.
4,800.
4,800 at one time.
Yeah.
Man.
Is that it? 4,800?
So
Wow,
4,800
that's a
crew
big
on
ship.
it's huge. Yeah.
And how many how many carriers do we have? Like
We have
20?
11.
We have 11?
Yeah.
Oh, we had more than
This surprised me to learn. We have, it seems like very few aircraft carriers. So
Yeah, but
I
no
think-
one else has more than one, right?
I know, but I think this is why the captain was such a big deal when he was talking about how weakened they were.
Oh, yeah.
So
That
does this
kinda
this
makes
it says
sense.
here the smaller amphibious assault ship that carries the F-35B Lightning II stealth
Ooh.
fighters. That sounds like a aircraft carrier, but they don't say it.
right.
So maybe they're not considering all of the
Amphibious?
ships that have, you know,
Do they-
aircraft as considered aircraft carriers,
Right,
or do you
right,
have to
right.
like carry a certain set
Yeah, I think
amount?
it has to be a certain
I don't know.
number.
Also,
Yeah, I feel like
does this
you're
am-
right. I feel like we got to have more than 11.
But
Although
does
you
like,
think about what they are, they're
but wait.
epic.
So big.
Does this
yeah.
amphibious
units.
does this amphibious ship go underwater
Yeah,
with
what does that mean,
jet
amphibious?
fighters on it?
let's
Like
see.
I
in
don't
it?
know.
That's really weird.
Makes me
It sounds
think
like a
of
fantastic
the,
voyage of some sort.
Avengers movie,
Yeah.
whatever they got. Though the shield flyer / island.
Yeah, I know, right?
They say the positive cases aboard the Roosevelt account for more than half of the total 890 sailors who have tested positive for the virus across the Navy. Meanwhile, the Reagan, undergoing maintenance in its home port of Yokosuka Naval Base since November, is preparing for deployment. Officials with Task Force 70, the battle force of the 7th Fleet, in a post Sunday to its official Facebook page, said sailors of the task force are undergoing 14 days of sequestration prior to departing on patrol. More than 1,000 sailors assigned to the Reagan and its accompanying strike group were bussed to Yokota Air Base and Naval Air Facility Atsugi over 4 days last week to sequester themselves prior to deployment, according to the Task Force 70 post. So the other thing we're seeing here, U.S. flexes its military strength with elephant walk of B-52 bombers and drones in Guam.
Yeah, look at them.
After
They're cool
China
looking.
takes advantage of U.S. aircraft carrier being crippled by coronavirus.
Dude,
They have photos
yeah.
of this?
Yeah.
Oh,
my
wow,
gosh.
dude.
Yeah, look how sick that looks.
These are B-52s?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Wow. Those are old, though, aren't they?
I don't know if the ships themselves are old.
No, the B-52s.
I mean, they could be new B-52s with
I
like,
guess, yeah.
same
Some
same style
drones.
aircraft, but
We got Navy MH-60S
So cool.
Nighthawks, U.S. Air
Nighthawks.
Force RQ-4 Global Hawk, Navy MQ-4C Triton Air Force B-52 Stratofortresses. So I guess
Jeez.
they're like new.
that's awesome.
Did you know that we
A strato fortress. Come on.
so cool.
Let's just talk about how great that word is.
What a great
Do you
name.
know that
Anyway, moving on.
we
Worked,
developed a new gravity bomb like several years ago. Like,
Really?
It was a big story, and I remember. I think this may be like even 6 or 7 years ago at this point. It's been a while, but gravity bombs they're nukes you just drop, like the original bombs that we dropped on in Japan.
Yeah.
It was a gravity bomb. You just fly it over and you drop it. And it blows up.
Unguided, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then since then we've developed intercontinental ballistic missiles and multiple independently targeting reentry vehicles with multiple
yeah.
warheads. But we made this. It's a megaton bomb and it was really, really small.
Okay.
So I'd imagine these bombers have. I don't know. Maybe
I'm sure they're
look,
capable.
I'll put it this way. Even
Yeah.
if I'll tell you what, if you came to me and said, "Tim, here's a press report saying they don't have any nuclear gravity bomb capabilities," I'd be like, "I don't believe you."
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't.
no.
I wouldn't believe
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't believe
Check
it
this
either.
out. So they have a map, actually. Look at this. The Elephant Walk came just days after China sent its aircraft carrier, the Liaoning, and fighter jets close to Taiwan. So you can see where the USS Ronald Reagan, this little tiny amphibious thing, is that what it is? And the Theodore Roosevelt, they have it on this map. I think this map is not scaled properly.
Yeah, I think
know.
Guam's way further south, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why it's in this weird little window box.
Right.
Yeah.
But, China sailing a strike force past Taiwan.
Yeah, what does
Very
that? What does it
interesting.
mean? Like, why?
I don't know.
What are they moving it out there for?
Show of force. Show of force. I mean,
think so.
positioning.
Rattling.
Yeah, that's
That's the thing
Right.
too. It's like
Is it
I
a show of force, or are they positioning for something?
Why not both?
yeah.
Why not both?
I mean,
Who makes the first strike in any kind of conventional warfare? That's the really interesting question.
Yeah.
And why would they do it? So some people are tweeting, a bit hyperbolic. China has sank a U.S. aircraft carrier, or disabled, or whatever. Some people are actually saying sank, and they're saying that they're exaggerating to an absurd degree. But with the coronavirus, and how they lied, and the World Health Organization, also lied. They're saying China did this, and they've disabled, an aircraft
They did,
carrier by
yeah.
doing it.
that's a big deal.
So if their numbers are legit, like China says, we only have 2,000 who have died because they're authoritarian lockdown and they barricaded people in their homes, I don't believe them. But
Do the deaths that happen from barricading people in, do you think that should be considered a coronavirus death, even
the
though they
people-
don't die from coronavirus? Because they're opening the doors and people are dead, right?
that's the issue with the authoritarian communist countries.
right.
They'll
Hard
be
to
like,
tell.
these are not coronavirus dead. We killed them.
Yeah, we killed them.
Yeah.
We killed them.
Got the middleman.
We don't need to report those numbers to you.
Those are not
Yeah.
coronavirus related. We did it.
I felt like someone had to say it.
That's actually the North Korea joke. They were like, there's a fake Kim Jong-un on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, at North Korea, COVID cases 1. And then it was like,
3 hours later,
yeah,
zero.
0. 3 hours later, 1. 3 hours later, 0.
Yeah.
That sounds like what they would do.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
But so Donald Trump has announced, this is actually the big breaking news, but I'm really just so over all the COVID stuff, to be honest. Like, we have a segment prepared, we're going to talk about it.
Oh, this is interesting.
Well, that Trump's
What
suspending.
you just pulled up. Yeah.
Yeah, check this out. You want to read it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, man.
Donald Trump freezes that's all U.S. funding for the World Health Organization, accusing it of accelerating the pandemic by opposing his partial ban on travel from China and putting political correctiveness above life-saving. That's interesting because throughout all of this, the WHO does seem to be a puppet of China.
Totally.
It feels like they're catering to China's
Japan?
every whim.
Japan said it.
It's
Called them the Chinese Health Organization.
yeah, it's not the World Health Organization.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't understand why they have said what they've said. Like they're the ones who are like, don't wear
I don't know.
masks, don't worry about it.
You know, I'll tell you what I think it is.
It doesn't spread from person to person. Really?
Right,
Where did you
yeah.
get that information
Well,
from?
China said so.
Oh, China told you. Thanks
Yep.
for letting us know.
yeah.
WHO.
And so why would any organization do that? Why would the NBA do it? Why are companies bending over for China?
Money.
They're placing a bet. Who they think wins out in the end.
Yikes.
Ooh, I don't like that.
That should never be a consideration. Like, I'll say it right now. I would never bend the knee for China. But these companies do. You know why? A part of them says, hey, man, China might win whatever's going on. We want to make sure we're on the right side. We're on the right side of, it's kind of like they don't want to, well, I'll put it this way. There should never be a circumstance in which you doubt your own country.
Okay.
Where you actually think you're going to lose, so you're going to go side with the enemy.
Yeah.
That's
kind
insane.
of treasonous, isn't it?
Well, for now, we're not at war with China, although I think there's probably some kind of like shadow or cyber war going on for sure.
Yeah.
But as long as there's no official declaration, but I'll tell you what.
There's no war in the traditional sense.
Right.
Right.
If there was,
This is a new world we live in, though. Yeah, it's not ever going to be the same. Like you said, there's not going to be troops on the ground. It's not going to be us fighting them. Let's fight with knives.
Maybe.
Like,
Hopefully not.
look, man.
I don't see it happening.
People who fight on the front line still carry knives, right?
you're right. That's true.
You ever watch
But what are the front lines? When has there been like two countries going at it like at war?
like we are in Afghanistan?
I know, but that's not necessarily the same.
Right,
That's
right,
us
right.
going there and like
Saudi Arabia and
imposing
Yemen.
ourselves essentially. I don't know a lot of details on all that, so it's hard for me to even talk on that. But
when it comes down to complete desperation,
yeah,
something will happen. I mean,
you called this 2 months ago
Yeah, right.
called what?
that China was going to use this because their backs are against the wall and they're either going to go to war or ask for help.
But we're not
Remember?
there yet.
I know,
right, for sure.
I know we're not there yet, but it doesn't seem like they're going to ask for help. They're pushing
Right.
us.
Because they think they're strong, and so they're like, dude, they have been pushing on the South China Sea for a long time,
Yep.
and no one has done anything about it. Oh, we flex our muscles, and they put their toe over the line, and they look at us, and then we flex our muscles, and then they step over the line, and we flex our muscles, and they keep doing it.
Yep.
That's what they've been doing. They just sank a Vietnamese fishing vessel. We talked about it last week. No one did anything about it. They've got a concentration camp full of Uyghur Muslims. No one doing anything about it. I'll tell you what's crazy. Bloomberg News. I just did a segment on this earlier today for my other channel. Bloomberg News shut down a story on the Chinese Communist Party members, and in the internal recordings that were released to NPR, they were saying they were straight up calling China Nazis, and they were like, "Let's have no illusions about it. We know what they are."
Wow.
These news organizations, they killed the story. They knew they had some dirt. Eventually, the New York Times released the story. They had some dirt on how these Communist Party members made money. And they said, if we report this, we risk being kicked out of the country, and we sell terminals there, so we better not do it. I'm going to be very careful. That's the gist of the story.
Yeah.
Although they claim that it wasn't fully vetted, and that's what they always do. We'd love to report on this, but we don't know if we have enough info. No, spare me, dude. You were bending the knee to the Chinese Communist Party that you called Nazis. You said, let's have no illusions about it. You know what they are, and no one will do anything about it. Remember the NBA dude? What did he say? Steve Kerr. He's like, well, no one over there talked to me about our gun violence. And people were like, dude, are you kidding me?
Oh, spare
Oh
me.
yeah, I remember
Yeah.
reading that.
Gosh.
It's like, are you kidding me?
So that's a very good point to be made, Mr. NBA, that because some crazy people randomly commit acts of violence, that somehow justifies ignoring the concentration camps full of people having their organs harvested. Excellent point,
Yeah,
sir.
that's a good point.
That's why I'm saying, when you look at what's going on with those camps,
Yeah, it's human rights violations.
It's
It's messed up.
I
Way
mean-
beyond it. You're right.
you know, one of the craziest things that I was reading
crazy.
was that there were apparently like rich people getting lung transplants, because you get scar tissue from the coronavirus. This is all rumor. I don't have any sources pulled up, so take it all with a grain of salt. But someone on Twitter said, I wonder where the lungs are coming from for these transplants.
Awful
Yeah.
handy.
So one of the theories that's going around is that there are certain countries where they're Muslim, and so they can't have what is it called, halal?
Halal, yeah.
But if you have these concentration camps in China where they are harvesting organs, these are Muslims, so their organs are halal. So that means they can essentially sell the organs to high-paying individuals who want clean organ transplants.
Jeez.
That's just another thing. That's like I see journalists talking about that on Twitter. I don't know if that's true. What are you gonna say?
I was going to say 7 days ago, China was appointed to the UN Human Rights Council panel. Just thought that was worth noting.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw that,
dude.
and that's so messed up.
I
Yeah,
despair
man.
of the UN.
I don't understand.
You know what? I'll put it this way. I'm actually really concerned about China's expansion, their growth, their economy.
Yeah.
And it gives me pause. They might win a potential, conflict, especially when you consider that our economy is totally crippled right now.
They make our medicine.
Totally.
We got to remember that they have us at a complete disadvantage right now.
And
not in military strength, but in every other way.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Well, they've been siphoning off our resources.
exactly.
So I think there's a possibility. But you know what? There's nothing that would ever make me say, I'm going to place my chips on China. I'd be like, even if I thought China would win with a great probability, I'd be like, I'm putting everything on America, you mother. We're going down with the ship.
That's right.
Captain stays in the ship.
Correct.
I will sink down and I will give the salute as the ship goes down to the ocean. I will not bend the knee to communists. Never going to happen. Which, now that we're seeing with the coronavirus lockdown, how authoritarian things are getting here,
Yeah.
I'm not happy about that, as we were mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got what's going on in Michigan. Can't buy seeds.
Yep. Can't buy seeds.
Gardening, work like
Can't
Essential.
protest.
Yeah.
Not allowed to protest anymore.
Oh man.
Dude.
Goodness.
I wonder if we're on the precipice. I know a lot of people. It's interesting because there'll be a lot of people who message me saying like, you don't understand how close we are to war, and they'll send me all these stories. Then I get other people sending me stories saying, oh, nothing's gonna happen. You have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna talk about how I see it and what I think, and I'm not sure we're actually at that point yet. But it seems like over the past, 7 years or longer than that, but I mean 7 years since I was being, seeing all this stuff more prominently, that we've been close to something for a long time, but nobody wants to be the first person to fire that shot heard around the world.
Yep.
Yeah. You and I were talking about war with China in October because
Yeah.
of the trade war stuff.
Oh yeah.
Could not have predicted this, but yeah, you were right.
It's really
there,
interesting
man.
how it's all China centric, even the virus.
You know who really talked about China a lot?
Oh, I can't think. What
There's-
was his name?
There's a certain man who everyone used to make fun of him for years. Donald Trump.
Yep, 2015, man.
2011.
He's been talking
yeah.
about.
I pulled
He's
up
been talking about China for so long about how big of a problem they are, and everyone, all they did was just make fun of him for talking about China.
early on, like before he was running for president, they didn't really make fun of him.
No.
Like a lot of these articles were like, Trump said this.
Yeah.
As soon as he runs for president, though, the media would look. The joke is that if Trump came out in favor of oxygen, they'd hold their breath.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but there was another joke, and this is hilarious. Trump supporters have said if Trump cured cancer, they would find a way to make it negative. Trump literally comes out with like, hey, a bunch of countries are using hydroxychloroquine. This is very hopeful. It might not work, but I'm hopeful. And the media comes out against it.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Unsubstantiated hope.
I don't
Yeah,
understand
seriously.
it.
You know what's the crazy thing is this doctor on Twitter tweeted 2 stories, both from the Washington Post. And one said Trump peddles false hope over hydroxychloroquine, blah, blah, blah. The next story was Gilead's patented remdesivir, whatever it's called. What is it called?
Remdesivir?
Remdesivir is showing hope. And it's like, the patented controlled major pharmaceutical drug is good, and the generic that Trump touted is bad.
Very bad.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly, the more and more I'm privy to this media world, the political realm that I wasn't really paying attention to before, the more I see the media seems to be whoever is the highest bidder. And sometimes it feels like it's China. Sometimes it feels like it's pharmaceutical companies. But either way, they don't care about the truth. That's what I've noticed.
For sure. I would liken it to maybe like a swarm of piranhas in a toilet.
Oh.
Okay.
So they will go after. They're in a swarm. They typically don't attack each other, but they might.
Okay.
And so what ends up happening is I can't pinpoint anything that seems to guide what this machine is.
Okay.
Aside from the fact that some of the people in media are activists, total activists.
Yeah.
But then you have people like Jim Acosta. He is the perfect example of everything Trump complains about. And it was funny. There was a former CNN producer wrote this newsletter for The First network. It's a network called The First, and he basically said, if you told me Jim Acosta was secretly working for the Trump re-election campaign, I'd believe it. Something to that fact, because he's like, look at what Jim Acosta does. He's a caricature of everything Trump complains about. Stands up, is really annoying and then tees up Trump to give this epic shutdown response.
Yeah, it's true.
Every time.
It's true. You're right.
He gets up and he's like, well, you're not helping people. And then Trump goes, who am I not helping? Well, I mean, it's like, aha, I caught you. You're fake news. You see, now you look at all the people. So Jim Acosta will say something really terrible.
Yeah.
And then give Trump an opportunity to say exactly what he's doing right. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then what's really funny is they point out Jim Acosta's Twitter banner is him on Jimmy Kimmel. He's like, Jim Acosta just wants to be famous. Mm-hmm. So all of these people in press, in the media industry, particularly the political media sphere, because it's not all journalists, obviously. It's mostly the political ones. I don't think they actually care about Trump at all.
I agree.
You know what makes the least amount of sense to me? Why is it that all of these outlets rag on Fox News all day, every day? Like CNN and Media Matters, for instance. Okay. Right Wing Watch.
They want you to watch Fox, I guess.
Fox News is one cable channel out of how many news channels are there? Dozens?
No idea.
But they're like, we don't like Fox because Fox says opinions we don't like. Look, when a bunch of people are ragging on CNN, CBS, NBC, ABC, the New York Times, Washington Post, I can keep going. You're like, oh, that's a ton of different companies. It's a major industry. It includes politics across the spectrum. I understand that. I understand if someone comes out and says all of these big media companies keep pushing this narrative, it's not true. You're complaining that the entirety of media is biased.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to single out one network and scream about it all day, every night. It's the weirdest thing. I don't make videos about CNN all that often. I do talk about them, but typically in this context.
Well, when you talk about something like that, it makes people want to watch them.
Yeah, you're like, I want to see.
You're giving them free advertising.
I don't get, the weirdest thing. Brian Stelter, the CNN media guy, him and Oliver Darcy, the other media guy, all they do like over the past couple of days is like tweet what Fox News is doing. And I'm like, I don't understand. Am I supposed to not like what you're saying? I don't know. What's the point? You're giving me a play-by-play of Fox News. I can turn it on right now. I don't need to follow you on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like what? But people in the replies were angry about the things they were tweeting, and it's just right over my head. I'm like, I don't understand. So like one of them was Trump says, I have the sole power to open up the economy.
Right.
Then it says Fox News Chiron, the banner. Trump says he has sole power to open the economy. Then the next tweet section says Judge Napolitano says that's not true. The states do. Then the next section says Fox changed his banner to who has the power to open the economy. And I'm like, but that's normal. Trump said it was him.
Yeah.
Napolitano said no. So then, the title of the segment, to give you information, was they were challenging who has the real authority. Brian Stelter tweeted that from CNN as if it was like a negative, and all of these resistance people in the comments were like, I can't believe Fox News would do that, and faux news, and of course they're lying. And I'm like, they literally didn't do anything. Like
they're just reporting it as it comes.
That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
The other dude, Oliver Darcy, was tweeting about it, and he's like, look at what CNN put, and CNN's lower, like the Chiron, the banner, was like, they were having a meltdown. It was like, Trump has angry outbursts trying to rewrite history, and I'm like, whoa. And then he's like, and here's what Fox News is doing. And Fox was just a Trump quote. It was like Trump says in a quote. And I'm like, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see CNN people retweeting their Chirons. They're like, this is what we're talking about. I'm like, you realize how this makes you look, right?
They're nuts.
What, desperate?
Yeah, I don't know. They're like, in what world is this good? You're opinionated on everything.
Yeah, that's what I tweeted. I was
Where's
like,
the news?
Yeah, I would just like to
Not
see what
CNN.
he's saying.
And you got to look through the weeds
through it,
to see. Oh, it's actually not CNN. It's another news source.
Yeah.
Why don't I just go there from now on?
Did you see? But you ended up seeing what happened with Chris Cuomo.
A little bit. You were telling me about it.
I did a segment on earlier. He like snapped apparently on his radio show. He's like, I have no value. I see no value in what I'm doing. I don't want to do this. It's like I don't want to peddle in things I think are ridiculous. He slammed the hyper-partisan nature of the networks. He said
that's awesome.
He would never beat Sean Hannity or Rachel Maddow. And I feel like he's saying that.
In ratings or what?
In ratings.
Okay.
Because he's their top show. He's like, but he gets 800,000 viewers per day.
All right.
I get way more than that on YouTube. Granted, CNN gets hundreds of millions on YouTube. I don't want to act like I'm getting more than CNN.
Yeah.
But he went off. He actually recently, a few hours later was like, no, I don't mean it. I like my job. Please don't fire me. Mm-hmm. He didn't say please don't fire me. He was like, I like what I'm doing. But I think he snapped because CNN used to be news. Like, do you remember you turn it on and they would be like, we're on the ground in Louisiana, a hurricane.
He likes reporting. He
Yep.
likes being a reporter. He likes, talking to the masses, but he doesn't like what they're forcing him to do.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
That makes sense.
But you know what he said? He's like, I saved up a bunch of money now, so I don't care. It's like, I wish you would have had scruples before.
Yeah.
Like, it's really easy to be like, I got paid $4 million a year for the past 5 years. I'm going to quit. It's like,
That doesn't
Great.
sound
Buddy.
very good either.
now that you and your family are rich forever, now you're ready to quit. That's just called quitting. That's not principled. That's just
High
called
standards.
I'm quitting. Yeah, right. But now
Good for
apparently
you, Cuomo.
now he doesn't want to quit, I guess.
He changed his tune.
But I think what he's saying, it's actually, we saw the Project Veritas. You know who they are?
Yeah.
They did undercover footage of regular CNN employees saying things like, we used to do news. We used to go on the ground. We used to have a guy, he'd be like, hey, I'm here on scene. They don't do that anymore. It's all panels.
Yep.
I bet if we turned it on right now, it'd be Orange Man bad. Not even kidding.
I agree.
So
Probably.
they're all
Or coronavirus.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Right now,
One of those two things.
he does have
it would
some
be both.
competition.
It would
Orange
be both.
Man has worsened coronavirus.
Right, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But what we're seeing now with Chris Cuomo is it's made to the top.
Yeah.
Like, first you have the low-level producers being like, I'm not happy with what I'm doing.
Yep.
He actually even said he's tired of analyzing the president. He's like, who we all know is full of S anyway.
Sure, fine.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, and he snapped.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, CNN has become just the trash network, and everyone knows it.
Yep.
And this was like, he accidentally pulled the curtain aside, and you can see behind all the inner workings, and you're like, there it is, man.
Oh man.
They all know what they're doing.
Inside source.
Yeah.
They all know what
We
they're
can
doing.
we can all see it now.
Not good info.
Yep.
I mean, the public knows you guys are full of S.
Of us. We don't swear on this show
I
because
try not
Not,
to.
yeah.
yeah.
But
We're family
it
friendly.
is kind of refreshing to see someone in such a high position in the media kind of like blow his top a little. Like, I'm pissed. And everyone's like, yeah, we know. We see it.
Right.
Thank you for admitting it.
What's
Yeah.
actually sad is that when he did this, I think the reason a lot of people are reacting in the way they are to it is because we all knew it.
Yeah, exactly.
You could see it in his eyes when he's standing there and he's like twitching, like having to say something that makes no sense. Or being on a network with Don Lemon. So the New York Times actually barred their reporters from appearing on Don Lemon's show briefly because they said it was partisan. And Don Lemon got all mad, like, I am not partisan. I am a reporter. And then he just goes on his hour-long rant about the president being bad all day, every day. It's like, dude, I don't think you get it. Like, so Donald Trump did this press briefing where he ragged on all the journalists, and they got really angry, and that's where CNN did this meltdown tantrum in their banner. And I'm like, if you want to report the news and Trump is insulting you, the graphic card should be something like Trump criticizes the press during press briefing. Like, not hyper-loaded language. You tell people what he's doing. He's criticizing the press.
Yeah.
But they make it personal.
Right. The truth can be very simple.
Yeah.
If you just say it, boom.
But because he's
They
targeting
get all
them,
biased about it.
they take it personally.
Yep.
And their
Do,
ego gets
yeah.
bruised. And so they say Trump is a narcissist who's rewriting history. and they don't realize Trump is baiting them.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Like, it's almost like, you ever see the movie Next with Nicolas Cage?
No, I haven't.
I really like this movie. He can see
Really,
the
you like it?
Yeah.
I'll see it. I like
So-
Nicolas Cage.
It's
Guilty pleasure.
He can see the future. He can see like a couple minutes into the future, right?
Interesting. Okay.
So there's this scene. All right, and trust me, this makes sense. You'll get it. There's
You're
this.
not spoiling the movie, are you?
No, but it's one scene in the beginning. I mean, the movie's like
It's
10
the
years
beginning.
old.
Okay.
Anyway,
Hey, I don't care. I want to watch
he's
it.
sitting at a diner, right?
All right.
And he looks over and he sees this beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets up and he goes and talks to her. And then I guess like her boyfriend shows up. And because he can see the future, the boyfriend goes to swing at him. He ducks and then knocks the dude out. And then the woman goes, "You dick," to Nicolas Cage. And she's like, "How dare you?" And she goes to her boyfriend, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe he hit you." And then all of a sudden it rewinds. That was his vision of the future.
Ah.
So he's still sitting there. He gets up, walks over, talks to her. Then the dude walks in the diner. And when the dude goes to hit him, he goes, "Here we go." And he lets the dude hit him.
Yeah.
And then the woman yells at the boyfriend and then apologizes to Nicolas Cage because he was the victim. She's like, "I'm so sorry that he hit you." And he's like, "Oh, it's okay." So the reason I bring that up is it feels
Interesting.
like that's what Trump does sometimes.
Okay.
Where he'll tee up the press to take the bait.
Yeah.
And then what happens is like Trump will poke them. And then all of a sudden you walk in the room and you see the journalists screeching and yowling and screaming at the president. And you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, that dude looks crazy.
Yeah.
What happened, Trump? And Trump's like, they're nuts.
Yeah,
And
man.
you're like, must be. So you actually saw it with that.
It almost feels like they're both. I mean, both sides of it are trying to get each other to do that now.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right?
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. The press wants the ratings
Yep.
because they'll take Trump out of context, showing him going like, "You look at me," blah, blah, and they do it all the time.
Yep.
But I don't think Trump does it on purpose. I think Trump gets baited and gets angry and starts insulting them. Then they take it personally in turn. And it really just depends on who you like or don't like more.
Yeah.
And because Democrats tend to trust the media, they view Trump as bad. And because conservatives don't trust the media, they view the press as bad. And then for me, as somebody who worked in media and knows the press is lying,
Yeah.
I'm like, I know what they're doing to Trump. I see it. They're lying. So it's not about me liking Trump or not. I'll tell you what, though. I can't stand most of these journalists because I've worked around them for so much. They're the snootiest elitists like you'll ever meet. Not all of them, but a lot of them. There's a lot of really cool journalists. The real journalists, they're not the ones on TV.
Yeah.
Like Brian Karem or Jim Acosta. Those are the showboaters. The real journalists are behind the scenes and don't want to be involved. They're cool people.
So what do you think these journalists are going to say when they start talking about how Trump freezes the U.S. funds for the WHO?
Oh, they're already saying it. They're already saying like unhinged rant from the president. They're saying, someone tweeted, Donald Trump suspending funding to the World Health Organization during a pandemic is like it would be like halting shipments of ammunition to your allies in a world war.
Yeah.
And my response was like, maybe if that ally was feeding you disinformation, which allowed your adversary to,
get an upper hand,
slow you down and kill your people,
right,
you might cut off funding to them.
Yeah. Every single person that has mentioned the WHO in my Twitter feed, anything that I've seen, is they're like a little puppet of China's puppet.
Wired magazine.
Everybody is saying this. Even myself, like it seems like that's the case. It's like, so this makes total sense to me that Trump's like, I'm going to free. They seem like they're, working for the Chinese government. I'm going to freeze
holding
any
water
funding. What's up?
Holding water for him, at least. Like not working for him, but at least,
Carrying water.
Yeah,
carrying water.
Precisely, yeah.
There was a story from Wired, and it said that it was a right-wing stunt to blame the World Health Organization. But it said Trump, it was like the right is not wrong about the World Health Organization. And I'm like, or it said Trump is not wrong. And I'm like, you can just say he's right.
Yeah,
they can't do it. They can't do it.
That's pretty funny.
Not do it.
But it was
so
crazy
close,
to me.
But nope.
Wired actually said the World Health Organization has been feeding us disinformation, which has slowed our response down.
Yeah.
And they called it. They still maintained the only reason that the right was actually saying it was because it was a stunt. Maybe it's because the right and people like me and other, politically homeless individuals, we see what's actually happening, and we say it's happening, but because the media lives in this weird bubble where everything is viewed through the lens of and every Republican is evil, they're like, certainly this must be fake news. We must say the opposite.
I think this is what bothers me most about the talking heads like Don Lemon and Jim Acosta and everybody. Are you not supposed to have a really big pinch of skepticism when you're a journalist? Because that's what I don't see in those people. And I imagine that's what the people behind the scenes have, right?
I love how to these people, the U.S. government can only be wrong and the Chinese government are bastions of truth and honor.
Yeah, I don't get that.
What, dude?
Yeah, I get that vibe from someone, and I'm like, I'm not going to trust anything you say anymore.
Yeah.
That's it. And I have a feeling that a lot of people out there feel that exact same way.
The United States government has done a bunch of really awful things and lied about it.
Yeah.
And they do all the time. And I am not a big fan of trusting them. I'll tell you what, though. If the U.S. government came out and said, listen, we got a pandemic, we need you to stay home, I'd be like, well, I don't trust you for the most part, but I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
If the Chinese government came out and said it, I'd be like, I will do nothing that you say. I do not believe you, and I think you're trying to hurt me. Yeah. And lo and behold, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're getting all this disinfo. People are dying. Even BuzzFeed reported that Chinese trolls on social media were trying to slow the responses in other countries like Spain and Taiwan. I'm like, well, there you go, man.
Yeah.
They're actively hurting us.
And they're claiming the help they're sending out. That these countries, you see these videos going out of like Chinese, like, I don't know, reporters or something saying, without the Chinese government, all these other countries would be in dire straits. Mm-hmm. So bless the Chinese government. And it's like, what?
Even American journalists are doing it.
And then in the next day, it's like, turns out all this Chinese equipment doesn't work.
Huh.
It's like,
yeah, right.
How
what?
weird.
So not only are they, the cause, well, supposedly the cause, we don't know
Contributing
exactly
factor.
the contributing factor
Yeah.
to the pandemic, but they're sending out faulty stuff.
Yep.
And then now we're hearing like they wanted it to spread in other places.
And then when Putin sends medical aid, the press says that it's a propaganda effort. Trump is accepting. It's like, dude, you know what,
So
man?
crazy.
I can't predict what's going to happen in November. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Because we just saw, like in Wisconsin, there's like a Supreme Court election, and there was like this Democrat woman won. She did really, really well. And so there's concern now from the right that this is a bad sign because Wisconsin is a major battleground state and Trump barely won last time.
Okay.
So if this woman beats the Republican right now, what does that say about, November? Honestly, don't know. Based off what we saw in the UK in December with like this major blowout conservative victory, I'm inclined to believe that the same thing might happen here.
I don't know. Every Bernie supporter, I mean, people are sharing all these different Bernie groups that are like, we will never vote for Biden.
Yeah, man.
So that's a huge, I mean, look at they were pretty close going through the different primaries. And now it's like, if all those people are like, F this guy, I'm not voting for this dude.
Right.
Who are they going to vote for?
Nobody.
Right.
Nobody.
So
And
that's,
you know what?
that's half the Democrats that went out and voted.
Bernie or bust. Yeah, it is.
Man.
Especially in Nevada. You're right.
Exactly.
So I think it was a lot of Bernie supporters said they would definitely vote for whoever the candidate ended up being.
Vote blue no matter who.
Right.
Such a
But
silly
I
phrase,
think
though.
I think Bernie in one poll had like 30% saying it depends,
Okay.
which means if it was like Elizabeth Warren maybe, but not Sleepy Joe.
Yeah.
Creepy Sleepy Joe. Can I just say that Joe Biden has been credibly accused of sexual assault, and Bernie Sanders and Barack Obama endorsed him.
Yeah, it's funny. Barack Obama finally chose to dust off his camera, and he's still super articulate. And I'm like, man, you make Joe Biden look so terrible. It's like,
Your endorsement has the opposite effect.
that's all I could think. I was like,
Like-
man, he's still articulate. I can understand everything he's saying, and it makes sense. Like, Joe Biden. So
Wow,
sad. That's all I could think.
So I saw this one tweet from somebody saying that the debates between Trump and Biden are going to be brutal because any regular person might try and take it easy on Biden, but Trump offers no quarter to anyone.
Anyone.
And I was like, oh, that's a really good point. Because I was thinking Trump might actually...
Like, wake him up a little bit?
No. Trump might be like, what are you doing with this guy? This is ridiculous, what you're doing to this man. This is horrifying. And treat it like a how dare you, make
No.
Biden do this.
No way.
Trump is going to rip him apart like
Yeah.
a pit bull with a stuffed man, just like shaking his head.
Yep. Exactly. He's not gonna go after other people. He's gonna go right to the
Like,
throat.
could you imagine having like a pit bull just like romping around your yard and just tossing a chicken just to see what happens?
Gosh.
That's like
What's
well,
be like?
on Joe Rogan said it would be like Mike Tyson fighting a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Dude,
man.
that is- but seriously, I want you to picture that in your head.
There's some truth in that,
I
though.
want you to picture Mike Tyson bobbing and weaving, getting warmed up, and a 3-year-old walks up like struggling to walk.
Oh my gosh.
And then he goes, wham! The kid goes flying like 20 feet, crashes in the stands. Like, what do you think? It's gonna. The other dude on the Rogan podcast said it was gonna be like a Comedy Central roast.
Right.
I see it.
Look,
I
man.
can totally see
I
it.
can see it. It's gonna be entertaining.
It will.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking like, oh man, like this is gonna be a serious debate between these two presidential candidates. Well, I mean, we got the incumbent, but it's gonna be really interesting. It's like, no.
Get the popcorn.
I'm like, I'm gonna make some popcorn. We're gonna, put it on the TVs and just
Fine time.
chill. Yeah.
Dude, yep. Sit back,
wait.
crack open some beers.
It's gonna be funny.
They could pay-per-view this.
and it's gonna be sad.
I know.
I
It's gonna be sad. And it is sad that that's where my head's at right now. And I'm sure a lot of people are like that because they're
I've-
like, Biden
not
versus
fair.
Trump. Like,
Yeah.
really?
If they had this on pay-per-view, like just not even a presidential thing, it was like Trump and Biden are going to talk to each other in a debate, and there was no politics, I'd be like, tell me how much it costs.
Yep.
Because Trump is a funny guy.
He is
They
kind
don't-
of funny. Yeah.
No, he's really
He's
funny.
a troll, dude.
Yeah,
He's
man.
good.
So
He's an entertainer. He's a businessman and an entertainer. Both.
and
Yeah.
he knows branding. I mean, this is it's been his thing, how to manipulate perspective and perception.
Yeah.
And people don't seem to understand this. Like, he had a TV show. People liked it. The Apprentice. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
When I went to the White House, they said, the way I described it was like a VIP Trump rally. I thought I was actually going to sit down and have a conversation with people and talk about some of the problems and what needs to be addressed because I really want to see social media get fixed. No, we all sat down and Trump basically did a stand-up routine. I'm not kidding.
Cool.
He was self-deprecating. He was like, what he really knows how to do is he knows how to take the criticism and turn it into a joke, and it depowers it.
Yeah.
And this
I
is
like
something that comedians have tried explaining to like the woke left all the time. Like, the jokes take power away from these things.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't, but they reject it.
Yeah, like when
Trump embraces
someone
it.
like I could have been upset that people started calling me soy Jesus, and then it would have become something so different than what it is
Totally.
now. But I don't care what anyone calls me, and now it's pretty endearing because I love you guys. You guys are awesome, and it's now this funny thing that we joke about all the time. It's great.
I don't think, yeah, right. I don't think when people were saying it, they were even intending it to be like an insult.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just something that people were like, look, this guy's got long hair and the beard, and he's
Well,
vegan,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
But what happens is you have two kinds of people. You have the more, I don't even want to say conservative because I don't know what it is. But I think people like you are less likely to have Trump derangement syndrome because you don't let things get to you.
That's a good point.
You're,
I don't.
You're comfortable. You know what you got to do. And it's like, dude, you can call me whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, I know who I am. Yeah.
I'm an adult.
Right.
You
No
know,
worries.
I actually was mad at Trump for a long time when he started The Apprentice because back in high school, it was one of my flirting moves to fire girls. that I was like
my
mid
gosh.
conversation, we'd just be cracking up and it'd be like, you're fired, and they'd just start laughing.
But then Trump did it.
And then Trump started firing people, and I'm like, I can't do that now. They're gonna be like, oh, that's Trump's line. Like,
You're fired.
why is that? And I'm like, no. So it's okay. I don't hold anything against you, Donald.
Think about like the reaction from, these woke leftists. If you called them like a soy boy, they flip out.
Yeah.
And so what happens is people then embrace it, like embrace in the sense that like they turn it into a strong talking point, make videos about it, and dance on it. It's like you're feeding the trolls.
Yeah.
They it's funny. You've made it funny. They found something that triggers you.
Yep. If you get triggered, they're gonna eat it up. That's like food for them.
So when I was watching Trump at this event, he made, I can't remember exactly what he said, but I'm pretty sure he made a joke about being orange, and everybody left. Because he knows what they say about him.
Yeah.
And it was clear that he didn't care.
Yeah,
he
he
turned it into a joke.
doesn't care.
And it was really funny. And this is what I try explaining to people. They get, I don't know what causes Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
But like, there's so many people in this world that are truly despicable and nasty people.
Agreed.
And like, if they said a joke, you'd laugh at it. You know what I mean? Like,
If it was funny enough.
right, because the
Maybe.
joke is separate. The ideas can be separate from what the person is and what the person does.
Yeah.
It's like what George Carlin said, that you don't. It's not the word. It's the person behind the word, like
Yep.
the racists. You
The
got to be worried
inflection.
about.
Yeah.
Words on their own don't mean anything. So if there was someone who was truly awful and they told you a knock knock joke that was funny, you'd laugh, and you'd be like, "That dude's nasty." And so that's the thing. I don't understand how people develop this emotional like mind block.
It's fragility. I think people who can laugh at a joke, of fun being made of them, are resilient. And people
Yeah.
who can't are just fragile. They have very, very low self-esteem, maybe.
I think that's links directly with emotional intelligence
I think
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
correct.
that we talked about.
I
And
think-
it's serious. It's a
Yeah.
serious epidemic in humans nowadays.
modern
I'm gonna
culture.
make a rather
Yeah.
brazen statement.
Oh.
I was looking at this
no.
Pew
Thanks
Research.
for the warning.
The warning. Here's the warning, everybody.
I'm prepped now.
I was looking at this Pew Research the other day. I used it in one of my main segments where
Okay.
it shows that conservative Republicans, moderate Republicans, and moderate Democrats are all very much likely to use the internet for civically minded things in similar way, to the same degree. Let me try and rephrase it. Basically, far left and leftist activists use social media for activism substantially more than all other political factions.
Okay.
What that says to me is two things. Either they're wrapping themselves up in this downward spiral of insanity, or they're all emotionally weak, ignorant people who are easily led by shock content.
Yeah. Or
So-
both.
Right. So I'm wondering, like, why is it that conservatives and moderate Democrats are in a similar space? Resilience. We see a story, we say, well, I'll look into it and see what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm gonna take what I can from that, but do my own research.
But take a look at what happens.
own research.
Look at what happens with the New York Times. They say Donald Trump owns a stake in a small financial interest in a company that makes hydroxychloroquine.
Yep.
And then Huffington Post and a bunch of other outlets write the story like as if it's this big scandal.
What did you see?
No one looks
Nancy
into it.
Pelosi talking about that. She was basically like word for word, or first you whisper a lie to the media, then they run a story on it, and then we report. See, the media said it, so it's true. It's like she basically told everyone that they actually do smear each other.
Wow.
Seriously. Hey, you have not seen this?
No,
Man,
no.
it's
Well, I'll
crazy.
look into
Try to
it.
avoid
Yeah, you
her.
got to.
But the point I'm making is,
Jeez.
I often wonder, are we all in echo chambers? Is it possible I'm wrong? Because everybody thinks they're right,
Yeah.
So these leftists are like, I know what I'm talking about. Tim Pool's a moron and I'm right. And I'm like, maybe that's true. And it reminds me of that saying, why is it that, the ignorant are so confident? And then, I don't know what the full quote is, but something like smart people are so full of doubt. And so I actually stop and think about this. Could I be wrong about my assessment? Should I need to go through this? And then I look at the data, and now I'm ready to conclude, not completely, because I want to reserve the possibility I'm still wrong, that right now what we're seeing is that stupid people are easily manipulated into supporting trash fake news.
Yep.
And everyone else, moderate Democrats, moderate Republicans, and conservative Republicans, are more skeptical and more mature and don't fall for this stuff. A better way to put it is that it's not that people who are far leftist are morons. It's that morons are pulled very easily to the far left.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. So you do have a lot of smart progressives and Bernie supporters and things, people I really respect. But then you end up with these really is it no wonder that these people on Twitter who put pronouns in their bios also list all of their other mental illnesses?
Oh yeah.
Is it a coincidence?
No.
But there's actually research that shows the far left is substantially more likely to have some kind of mental illness. Like, I've actually gone through the data. It's legit data.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think it's not that leftists have mental illnesses. It's that people who have mental illnesses are very easily tricked into adopting these beliefs through manipulation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Oh man.
Well, that was a fun rant. I guess we'll see where that takes us in terms of November.
Well, but before we move on, that is another problem. Is we have to learn how to admit we're wrong and be okay with other people admitting that they're wrong and not like reprimanding them for that and acknowledging, they realize they're wrong. Props.
That's admirable.
Right, exactly.
You do that.
Yeah.
Like,
I
that
tried
person,
to a
that
lot.
NBA player said, really apologized like 2 days later. He felt really bad and apologized to everyone and said, even this isn't enough. And was like, you know what? Props.
Yeah,
It was
good.
Good. People need to learn how to do that.
Yeah, I didn't always do that, but I realized if you rub it in someone's face, you're encouraging them never
Yep.
to apologize.
Exactly.
But not just that, it's actually a thing now where they tell people in terms of public relations never apologize.
not necessarily apologize, but also for admitting that they're wrong in the first place.
Right.
The apology and then the admitting is a little different, but they run hand in hand, I guess.
Yeah.
They say that it adds fuel to the fire, and people are more like to associate your apology with guilt and wrongdoing.
Okay.
And so if someone accuses you of something and you deny it and ignore it, then people are less likely to associate you with whatever you were accused of.
I see. Okay.
So they're actually saying, like, apologies don't work, don't do it. And that's a bummer.
That's too bad.
That's too bad.
I like the idea of taking responsibility, because I think you
Yeah.
can take responsibility for making a mistake without apologizing.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that research is antiquated, and that's part of the problem. We have to mutually move forward into a different space where that isn't true anymore.
What isn't true?
The fact that saying sorry is
Right.
equated
Sign of
to
weakness.
is a sign of
Yes.
weakness. Exactly. And that's a problem with emotional intelligence, because it's almost like the media and all these people are treating everyone like babies. Oh, the world is filled with babies.
Yeah.
No one's emotionally strong enough to handle any of this truth or any of the real stuff that's happening. So we're gonna give it to them lightly.
Well-
And it's like, don't apologize because that's a sign of weakness. It's like, no, it's not.
Well, maybe if World War III happens, there'll be a lot less weak people on the planet.
That is correct. Yeah.
I mean that facetiously. I do not like war. I do not want people to lose their lives.
We could stand
But-
and toughen up.
But this is a serious human conundrum.
Yeah.
In that we want to protect everyone, no matter what, even the people we don't like. We don't want to get hurt.
Of course, yeah.
But then we end up creating frail, fragile people who have temper tantrums nonstop. And how do you deal with that?
Yep.
It's like, listen, man, I don't want you. I want you to survive and thrive. But if you and me, like if me and like one of these far leftists were in the middle of the woods, And I'm like, time to start building a shelter and a fire. And they stood there saying I was oppressing them because I controlled the means of production, which was a rock. I'd be like, shut your mouth.
Go find your own rock.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
It's like if you can't survive on your own, don't think whinging and complaining about what I have is going to change anything.
Yeah.
And so when we scale that up to a bigger society, you have China, which is authoritarian and ready to pull the trigger, and a bunch of whiny, complainy, woke leftists having temper tantrums. Admittedly, they've kind of disappeared since
They
all
have
hell's
kind
broken
of
loose.
thinned out.
That's true.
Yeah.
It does seem that way.
But we will see if this actually escalates to conventional war, which I'm not entirely convinced it will.
Yeah.
You know, it could be more saber rattling like we often see, and maybe things calm down, we get back to normal, and that would be preferable.
Yeah, I
That'd
hope
be nice,
so.
yeah.
In the meantime, let's jump over to some super chats.
Yes.
Yeah.
indeed.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We're gonna grab your super chats now.
How you guys doing?
Make sure you click the like button if you haven't. It really does help. And hop in the super chat because we're gonna read as many as we can. But I got to tell you, you got a ton of people who are watching, so it's gonna be really hard to read everyone's.
Oh wow, yeah,
Oh,
nice.
welcome everyone.
Yeah.
Holy
Nice.
Woo.
Thank you, everybody.
But I'll
for
try and
showing
read.
up.
We'll read as many as we can because
great.
we do have what we didn't actually get into the female draft thing, but we do want to talk about this experimental coronavirus treatment, which is pretty cool. So let's just start with the super chats. Perpetual Punster says, "Hail Tim, Adam, and Lydia, the heroes in a half pipe." Hey Tim, I had to look up the definition of chiron. Thus, thanks to you, I learned something new. Cheers. Yeah, a lot of there's a lot of people in media who assume everyone knows everything they do.
Yeah.
So like when I've tried saying like chiron, I'll say it's the thing on the bottom where they display text.
Yeah, thanks, because I had no idea what it was.
But the journalists will just say chiron, and you're like, what? I don't know what that is.
What
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Learning curve.
Anderson says, Lydia, oh Lydia, please show yourself, if just for a sec. She's hidden. Can't see her face.
It's a mystery.
I can see her. Haha.
Outlaw Bear says, I got my 1200 today, so here's a few for you. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
man.
We just
Thank you.
officially,
Thank you.
indirectly got Trump bucks.
Yes.
Trump
Trump
bucks.
bucks.
All right. Trump bucks. Darth Gary, thanks for the peach emoji.
Love it.
Cute.
APC, thanks for the super chat. Drunk Shovel says, guys, Lydia is probably a really nice lady, but she isn't going to sleep with you. Drink water to quench your thirst, lads.
Excellent
Yikes.
point.
Zing.
Swampy says, seed ban is fake news. Channel Lethos Law. Consumer lawyer found there, explains it, bought seeds to prove. No item specified in law. Stores over 50K square feet had to close specific sections.
Okay.
No, I
hope
thought
that's the
that was what my understanding of it. Not that they specifically said you can't go and buy seeds. They said that stores had to shut down certain areas, which included seeds.
Like
I actually,
gardening supplies.
right, I actually commented on this, like, what if you need to fix your floor and you need to go into a section with wood because there's a hole in your floor you could fall through. It wasn't specifically about seeds. So I think a lot of people think she literally said no one can buy seeds.
Yeah.
What I was saying is that it's an arbitrary law. They don't understand how it's going to impact everybody, and thus sections that included gardening shut things down.
That makes sense.
But I do think it's fair that Swampy's pointing out he was able to go and buy seeds. So that's why I was saying I'm sure many of these stores are going to be like, I don't care, buy whatever you want. You know?
Yeah.
Big Al says, Draft Our Daughters was a 4chan thing from 2016. Yes, it was. Duck Fart says, Trump dropped the hammer on the media today again. He's ready to step on their throats. Finally, they're scared of him. Look, man, there's an emotional satisfaction in watching some of these people get comeuppance. If the worst thing that happens to them is Trump says mean words to them, I don't care. I have no sympathy for these people. They're elitists. They think they're smarter and better than you. They've said as much. So Trump, gives them a verbal smackdown. I don't care. They take it so personally. Go cry somewhere else.
Duck Fart. What a great name.
I
fart.
love it.
Still thinking about it.
Yaisen, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Hard Mode Gamer says, great bias checker. Allsides.com says you're centrist. I often shout out All Sides. I think they're really, really great. They do say I'm centrist. Brian M says, hear about Amazon ban on documentary Hoaxed. They deleted from people's purchased items too. Wow. Also, someone said, I would let Amber crap on my bed and cut my finger off. LOL. No.
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 Amber
Don't
Heard.
do it.
No.
Amber
I'm
turd.
signing the petition now.
Let's not do it.
For those that don't
Sign.
know, this is crazy. There's a documentary called Hoaxed. I mentioned it, earlier. I think I
Yeah.
commented on it a couple times.
Yeah,
It's
they took it down, I guess, right?
Yeah, they removed it from Amazon Prime Videos. It was a documentary about how the media fakes things. And it had people like Stefan Molyneux, Alex Jones in it. I was in it. There were a few other people. Ryan Holiday's in it. He's awesome.
Yeah, people are tweeting me about it, actually.
Yep. And they removed it. You can still buy the physical DVD and the book, I guess.
I guess
but-
it's still on YouTube. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
people
yeah.
are telling
Oh, it
me. You
is.
can watch
Right.
it on
Amazon just arbitrarily removed it, which is crazy.
That's weird.
But apparently now it's cracked like the Associated Press's top 10 independent films.
Wow.
At like number 8. Look, it's good. You don't gotta like Jones or Molyneux or any of these people.
But it's a documentary about it all.
They give their opinions, but there's a really, really amazing point in the documentary where there's Mike Cernovich is being interviewed by, I think, Scott Pelley of 60 Minutes. I'm not sure if this is who it was. But he calls out Cernovich saying, you wrote a story saying that Hillary Clinton had Parkinson's and Cernovich, or that she was sick. And Cernovich is like, she's sick. And he's like, well, how do you don't know that? That's not true. And he goes, I do know it. It is true. And the journalist is like, you don't know that she's sick. You can't say that. And he's like, we talked to a doctor. The doctor said she was sick. And he goes, but we now know that she had pneumonia. And he was like, how do you know she had pneumonia? Well, the campaign told us. Why would you believe the campaign? And then he drops his glasses. Like, these journalists don't realize they are elitists going. All these articles came out about Donald Trump during the campaign season saying all of these doctors say based on the way he talks, he clearly has these personality disorders. So Cernovich literally did the same thing in the other direction.
Okay.
And they all said he was lying and fake news and alt-right and all these other things. He was doing exactly what they did. They didn't like it.
Yep.
Trying to change the narrative. So then when he's doing this interview and he explains to the guy, why would you blindly believe the campaign?
Right.
How can you have, doctors say one thing, but then you get other doctors say the same thing about the other candidate. All of a sudden it's not true. It's exactly what they did with Joe Biden in the New York Times. Joe Biden is credibly accused. The New York Times waits 19 days. And this is crazy. They essentially admitted the reason they removed the negative line about Trump was because the campaign was upset. Joe Biden's campaign was upset, so they removed it.
Wow.
There it is.
Wow.
We know who they work for.
Yep.
Here we go. Bob Jones says, article from South China Post. Coronavirus could attack immune system like HIV by targeting protective cells, warn scientists. Kamikaze the T cells. Are we supposed to believe this just came from nature? I mean, didn't HIV just come from nature? I mean, it's possible.
They've been studying
I don't know.
coronaviruses for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not.
I mean, look, man, plagues happen, and we were overdue, and everyone was joking it was coming. So is there a possibility that there's bioweapons they get released? Definitely. And there's some studies that came out of China. They rescinded them. That this may have not been like made as a bioweapon, but that it was essentially developed in a lab rather accidentally through research, and it leaked.
Yeah.
I don't know about any of that. For now, we need evidence. If we don't have evidence, there's not much we can do beyond say,
Boom.
The experts think it was natural.
Give me the evidence.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Sly Bread says, hey, Tim, did you hear there's a rumor going around that Taiwan notified the World Health Organization about COVID-19 by email in December? The World Health Organization really is China lapdog. I did hear that.
I saw that too.
Yep.
Connor,
All signs.
Connor Stevens says, I'm at work, so I can't really link to anything at the moment, but my understanding is Amber stood on the bed and forced it out LMAO. Wow. I can't wait to read this
So on
article.
top of the sheets. Thanks.
Yeah.
So on top of the sheets.
What is this?
Woo.
People in California, Hollywood people,
Ruin
man.
the bedspread, man.
Oh, come on. Got too much money.
Jacob Meyer, thanks for becoming a member. Stacey Ellis says, good luck. Appreciate it. Arthur says, China's first aircraft carrier was once a casino. What?
Wow.
The second one is a copy of the first. China is a land power, not a naval power. That's what I've heard. I believe it. Cadge says, can't wait to see the military super tech the U.S. pulls out for World War III.
Oh, man.
Dude.
Yep.
We're going to see like Iron Man. Like, you don't even know what they've got.
It's going to be robots.
Yeah.
I fully believe it. They're going to be automated by, or probably drone pilots. They already have drone pilots for planes, but
you ever see the movie Surrogates?
no, we talked about it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but check it out.
We just watched it recently. In the military, all of the soldiers are lying in beds where they sink their brains to the
Boom.
drones.
Exactly.
And then it's funny. One guy's like, it shows the guy running as a drone, and then he gets sniped. And then he wakes up in the bed, and his commanding officer goes, "Those things aren't free. Get another one." And he's like, "You got it." And he goes back in. It's like, that's what's going to be like.
That's
Drones.
the future.
Yep.
Yeah.
Future warfare, dude.
I see it.
Let's see. Ambiguous, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
John Harker says, Jodi Arias took a dump on her boyfriend after she killed him. It's a substantial power move.
Jeez.
Maybe they should add that in video games. Like after you win, you can like
Oh, teabagging.
teabagging.
It's a thing
I was
already.
gonna say.
Gregory Horton says, I've been a member for 18 months. Tomorrow will be 2 months for this channel and Subverse investor through WeFunder. That being said, what is going on with Chris? My feed is blowing up with this. That is personal family stuff. I can just say that, his assertions are incorrect, but I'm not going to publicize family stuff. Sean says, hey, Tim, I am from MI and am the sole income for my family of 5. I want to stand up against this outrageous governmental overreach, but can't risk an arrest cutting my family's income off. Advise. I can't give advice. I have no idea, man.
That's a tough situation.
This is how they get you, because people would do anything for their families, and the government, not just governments, anybody who wants power knows they can manipulate you through your family.
Yeah, it's in every single movie, right?
Yep.
The person you love is taken captive.
Right.
That's it. That's how they get you. You're the hero.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't work on me.
No,
No, it wouldn't. Yeah,
I'd be like, oh, you're gone. Sorry.
it's what we were talking about with the U.S. and how they deal with
Right.
terrorism.
Yep.
You stand firm and say, if you do this, you will get nothing from me except a boot up your butt.
Right.
Yeah.
I will not bend. You can't threaten my family. It's not going to work.
That's fair.
But when you tell people that it will,
I have a certain set of skills.
Yes, exactly.
yeah,
And I will use them.
I love that movie.
It's
Taken.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
It's a good movie.
My favorite scene is when he's sitting down. He finds the guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then the guy says, "What does he say? Like, see you soon" or something like that.
I don't remember.
And then he knows it's him, and then like the guy realizes who he's looking at.
Yep.
Dude, it's great. It's funny because Liam Neeson is like 60, but he's doing these action films.
Yeah.
So
I
great.
thought Taken was fun, man.
I will
Bruce
watch
Wilson.
all of them though.
I just watched A Million Ways to Die in the West, and
I think I've seen that.
I think that's what it's called. But Liam Neeson's the bad guy, and he's a cowboy with an accent.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Seth MacFarlane did that on purpose because it was a
Okay.
Family Guy joke. Yeah.
Nice.
Liam. I don't. Where's Liam Neeson from? He's Scottish.
I think he's
What-
Irish.
what-
Didn't he get in trouble for beating somebody up?
Oh yeah, with a shillelagh or something.
Yeah.
Was that what it's called? A
I don't-
shillelagh?
Oh,
I don't
what?
remember the details.
What's a shillelagh?
Is that the right word?
Okay, I gotta look this.
That's a
up
great
now.
word though.
Shillelagh.
Shillelagh.
It could be the wrong word, but isn't
It's
it
not a swear word, is it?
No, it's like an Irish. It's like a club.
Oh, geez. He beat someone with a club?
No, he was
Excuse me, a shillelagh?
shillelagh.
Shillelagh.
I
Is
just
it a
like
shillelagh?
saying it.
I'm not sure. I only remember that it was kind of racial in nature. I
Yeah,
don't remember the
he said that
weapon.
when he was younger, he went out like looking for like
He was really mad.
Jeez.
because someone attacked a girl he knew,
Right.
Oh, okay.
and so he wanted to attack someone based on race.
Responded poorly.
Yeah, and then
He was
everyone was like,
young.
"How dare you?" And he was like,
It
he was
was
coming
years and
clean,
years
saying
ago. Yeah.
and then he was like, "I can't believe I'm telling a journalist all this. This is crazy." And
Bad idea.
yeah,
So
is it? Did
he's
you look it up?
admitting he was wrong.
Right, and it was 50
Exactly.
years ago or something. Dude's
50
old,
years
man.
later.
Yep, times change, man.
Times
Let's
are-
read some more of these.
50 years ago, the world was a different place.
Totally.
Yeah, man.
Matty Bone says their CCP carrier can't function in combat situations. The one thing China can't build, but the U.S. Admiral should not have reported that. Interesting.
Agreed.
Aaron says, Tim, you should pull up Disney Plus's hilarious edit of Splash. They cover up the actress's butt with this terrifying looking hair, dumb censorship. I heard about that.
Really?
Yeah, she's running towards the beach,
Uh-huh.
and there's weird, really long CGI hair. It looks super weird because they couldn't show her butt because they wanted to like change the rating
Gotta be
so
family
so it could be
friendly.
family friendly.
Ah,
Oh, funny.
It's so dumb, dude. Censorship is getting weird.
it is.
Tech Cowboy says, let Japan build a navy again. That can handle China.
Yeah, man.
Justin O'Toole says, exclusive leaked video of mainstream media's response to Trump they don't want the public to see. Well, I can't link to it, so.
Look it up.
Slanty Chauffeur says, are you all making Greta proud, paying environmental terrorists in Final Fantasy VII Remake?
We talked about it.
Yeah, you were telling me, like,
Yeah.
you basically play as eco-terrorists.
Essentially, yeah. Yeah, it's and it's interesting because then the corporation then smears the
Yeah.
group, blaming all this extra damage that they caused themselves on the eco-terrorist group.
Oh,
I
snap.
kind of want to play it.
It's a good. It's good. And
But
there's
you put in how many hours? Like 40 hours?
well 42, but now the reason why is because I got everything. I did
Oh, okay.
everything. I went everywhere you can go. I
cool.
watched every single cutscene. So now I'm playing hard mode and I'm just skipping all the cutscenes, and the game is flying by now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, I'm already here. But it is
kinda-
cool. There's a hard mode. It makes it's significantly harder.
I kind of don't like that they're breaking it up, though. It would be greater if it was this big, epic game that was massive and had everything in it.
Well, but it will be eventually.
Right.
It's not going to be a standalone episode 2. You're going to use your characters and continue the
Right.
story.
That's what I mean. But
I'm
you gotta,
totally okay with it.
Yeah.
When I played this playthrough, it was like watching a movie, and of the game I already knew, but I was finding out so much more about the characters, and I mean there was a little stuff. There's stuff I could admit that didn't need to be in there, but for the most part, it was really incredible, and I'm glad they're doing something a little different. So it's not. I'm still. I mean, I played Final Fantasy VII so many times, and I mean, we can talk about that at a different time, but it's good to have something new.
Yeah.
Even though it's familiar, but I'm glad I'm still being caught off guard.
I think it looks amazing.
It really is amazing.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Right on. Anti-Pattern says, did you hear Amazon Prime removed the movie Hoaxed? We did. We just talked about it. That's crazy.
Man.
Holly Movie Star says, Tim, we have hunter-killer subs hidden out there. Oh, cool. I mean, the U.S. is more powerful than anyone realizes.
Yeah, we don't talk
They
about
don't
that
tell
a
you,
lot.
right? Yep. Ethan Johansson says, we have 11 super carriers, but 8 smaller carriers called jump carriers. There you go. So we have, just about 20. Dylan Bella says, if I am not mistaken, that Chinese carrier is from Russia. The Russian sister carrier has a nasty habit of catching fire. Wonder if it runs in the family. That's crazy.
We should find out.
Baco says, can the U.S. military not flex next to my small 36-mile-long island? Also, soy for the soy god, beanies for the beanie throne. Excellent.
Nice.
Roddy says, I feel bad for my bros on the USS Green Bay. That's a huge marine transport ship, and there is no space, no way to avoid anyone. Over 1,000 people on board, all eating at the same room in line stretching across the ship. Wow.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Fish Lansing, thanks for the super chat. J-Man says, good evening, Tim and Soy Jesus. What are your thoughts on Obama endorsing Biden? Will it make any difference? No.
I agree. It only made Biden look worse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He endorsed Hillary.
I know, but
didn't work.
Hillary at least could speak.
No, I mean,
I know. Is it going
that's
to
why-
help Biden's chances? I don't think so.
That's the point. If Obama can endorse Hillary and she couldn't win, then there's no way his endorsement's going to help Biden.
If Obama came out and endorsed Biden right when he said, I'm going to run for president, I'd feel a little different about it.
Yeah.
But he waited until now. It's like...
He doesn't care. It's not an endorsement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not an endorsement. You waited way too long. Now you're sure he's the nominee. So it's like, all right, I guess I'll endorse him. But all he did was just be so articulate. And you're like, oh, yeah, I can understand what you're saying. And I can't understand who you're endorsing. So why? Really? I don't know.
I am
Didn't work for me.
offended that they're trying to prop Biden up. And the media is acting like he's sane. This is the weirdest thing to me.
Yeah,
He'll
he's
be
not.
He'll be like, they'll interview him and he'll go, the thing with the discounts and the struggle that, with Trump and the victory we have. And then the media will be like, Joe Biden gives amazing speech saying it's time to fight for victory and resist Donald Trump. And you're like, he didn't say that.
I know, yeah.
But the media is trying to clarify
I
for
didn't get
him.
it.
No. Just give me the quote and I can look at it confused. I don't need you to try and fill in the gaps.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we're going to speed up these super chats, try and get through them because we do have some more stories we want to read for you. I think we should do the Amber Heard one next because I'm really excited
Yes.
to read about her poop in
definitely.
the bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Not Heisenberg says amphibious ships have smaller deck, STOL, aka Harrier, belly deck ramp in back, loads hovercraft inside. Ooh, cool.
Very cool.
That's really cool.
Right on.
ND Boat says the America is an amphibious carrier and has almost 3,000 people on it. It doesn't go underwater, but most amphibians do sink a little to take on ICAC and ICU. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Ethan Johansson says, we never replaced the original B-52s. We retrofitted them several times, though. Air Force tried to replace B-52s 3 times now. All did the job worse. So just keep retrofitting model year 1956
Whoa.
planes.
High
Wow.
quality.
If it ain't broke.
Yeah.
Right.
Student of History says F-35 has vertical takeoff and landing. Ooh, cool. So it doesn't require a launch ramp. Also, B-52 is old, but has a massive and nuclear payload and is updated regularly with avionics. Yeah,
Love me
America.
learning all this stuff.
Jim St. Armor says, hey, crew, the B-52 was designed and entered service in the 1950s. The youngest B-52 in service was built, I think, in 1965. They are upgraded and may serve another 30 years. That's incredible.
Wow, I love it.
That's great to hear.
So cool.
It's really cool.
Recycle, reuse, rinse, what is it?
Rinse, recycle,
Yeah.
reuse? I don't know.
I don't know. Something
Well,
like that.
whatever. It's like they're not just being like, scrap this, let's make the new year, the new model. I mean, seems like they've tried.
They did
but,
try, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they
we'll
were
use 'em.
sticking to what's working.
Yeah, man.
So Dylan Bella says basically the same thing, that stopped building B-52s in the 60s and 70s. Most pilots are flying B-52s their fathers flew.
So
That's cool. Roddy says, I had CBRN training, which covered biological attacks. And in the region, we get smallpox shots because a biological attack by China has always been a threat out of everywhere in the world. Wow. Chaos Might says, because of the tides in Taiwan, China can only invade Taiwan either in May or in September.
Oh,
Interesting.
May's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Benjamin Stevens says, keep up the great work, Tim. Stay safe, brother. Appreciate it. Heavy Armsky says, people who fight on the front lines are very lightly armed. While deployed, I had an M16 with 3 mags. That's it. The only reason I had a large knife was because I personally brought one.
Whoa.
Oh, interesting. Dalamar says, Tim, the U.S. has 11 fleet carriers, nuke-powered, 80 fighters, and 9 amphibious assault ships, which are helicopter and 20 fighter carriers. Our amphibious carriers are on par with the rest of the world's carriers alone.
Woohoo!
Amazing.
That's not surprising.
Yeah.
I love it.
Bro Cody says, The Who, everyone is safe here. There is no corona in Ba Sing Se. Avatar reference. Username says, check out Bill Gates' Instagram comment section. People are going crazy over vaccines and him murdering children. Also, Zuck is being semi-spammed about adrenochrome. That is
man.
ridiculous. I don't.
People going crazy.
Yeah, man. Let's see. What is this? Moko Mothman says, of the 18 jump carriers that exist in the world today, 9 belong to the U.S. Navy. Of the 11 super carriers in the world, all 11 are American. It would only take one super to cripple any other Navy. Wow.
So that's why it's such a big deal that he said that about
Yeah.
their carrier being crippled. Oh, man.
That makes sense.
Oh.
Roddy says it's basically Trump calling out the modern Nazi Germany since China has begun blaming blacks for spreading the disease, which they have. They're
have, yeah.
nuts. And McDonald's was banning people. That is disgusting. McDonald's corporation should not stand for that.
Why you want to ban your
I agree.
business?
They want the money though. Yeah, I know it's stupid. Money is
These are
green,
people
man.
who'll give you money.
That's
yeah.
what's it saying. The only color
silly.
that matters is green.
Exactly.
You got
Right.
the money, come in my store. I got no
Yeah.
beef.
Yeah, that's so messed up.
And everyone else screaming that the modern Nazi Germany is misunderstood. Cheryl, thanks for the super chat. Emeka, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Chaos Might says, Tim, did you see the reports on CCP virus attacking the immunity cells? I did not. We'll look into it later. Death is Eternal says, we are trying to remove our Governor Whitmer. Thank you guys for all you do. I saw that. They're calling for a recall. It's like 200,000 people signed a petition or something like that.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
George Gutu says, amphibious designates that it is used to support U.S. Marine missions. Cool.
Oh, okay.
Very
Right
cool.
Wolfsbane says, it seems like we never left the Cold War. Just change the allies and enemies on the chessboard. The only problem is now we have more. We are more divided than ever.
Yeah.
Totally. Michael Hendrick says, theory. China released COVID-19 to cripple the world, said more people died in their country than really did, and are preparing to launch a major offensive against the Western world. Yeah, but I don't think so. I like entertaining the possibilities. I think they exploited the problem.
Yes.
Fed disinformation, took advantage of it. I don't think it was intentional.
I think in the long run, it's gonna bite him in the butt.
It depends on what their goal is. I mean, look, it's a problem. It's hitting everybody, and I think they're taking advantage of it. That's what they've been doing. Totally. GMU says, I request Trump on Timcast IRL. He is absolutely welcome to sit down
That
and come
would
and be
be
a guest on the show
so
at any
cool.
time.
He can have my seat.
It would be fun. It'd be hilarious.
I'll take
Probably not
pictures.
serious enough, though. 56
So
Crusader
fun.
says, I think Trump will pull punches with Biden considering how he talked about the phone call. Also, what will happen with those states that are giving their votes to the popular vote when Trump wins it? I don't think that's actually going to happen, though. The popular vote thing, I don't think they're there yet. It'd be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Niall Crespo says, Tim, please watch Out of Shadows and Fall Cabal 1 through 10. A lot more of what's happening will make sense, or maybe not. Keep up the great work. Appreciate it. Jinx, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
David says,
Super jump.
super jump. That's what
Sorry,
what
David.
happens. Yeah, YouTube says we're not going to let you read what this guy said. We're going to jump forward.
It's a secret.
And there are a ton of super.
Oh,
there
wow.
we go.
Thank you, everyone.
David says, hi, Tim and gang. How bad do you predict civil unrest gets when President Trump calls for the end of quarantine and the Chinese American media and Democrats keep enforcing quarantine? Well, no matter what Trump says, they will come out against it. So there was a Babylon Bee article. It said, ingenious move, Trump comes out in support of impeachment, forcing Democrats to oppose. Yeah, that's what.
It is pretty funny.
There's nothing you can do, man. You know what? They're going to slowly start reopening things. Fine, whatever. You know what I was thinking is there's a lot of things to criticize Trump for, but they've cried wolf so much. It's kind of in one ear, not the other.
Exactly.
Like
Yep.
Trump recently said that he has absolute authority to reopen the economy. He doesn't. Judge Napolitano, as well as many conservatives, are like, no way, dude. The 10th Amendment, the states have these powers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's really interesting because these criticisms, the legit ones, would make sense if the media would just shut up
Yeah.
and then focus on the things they actually need to focus on.
Right.
But so now it's just like, I heard it. I don't care.
If only. That'd be a wonderful place.
He cried wolf, man.
Yeah, man.
Cried wolf. J Max says, Tim, do you still talk to David Pakman? I follow him on Twitter for his perspective, but today he was condemning Trump for defunding the World Health Organization. I don't know how you defend that organization regardless of where you fall politically. Partisan lines are getting even wider.
Yep.
I talked to David because I think while David is wrong on many things, and he's certainly criticized me for similar things, I think he's I think he's being like he's good faith. I think he's actually telling you what he thinks, and I think he's wrong. But that's okay. Like, we had a conversation. He said that, he thought that I was purposefully choosing certain topics to rile people up or whatever. I'm like, of course, I have critics. He has critics.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that I've seen produce content where I'm like, dude, there's no way. Now, I certainly think David gets close to the line. Okay. But I've heard him slam the woke left and get eaten alive for it. He even made a video called like the subjects I'm not allowed to talk about because people will come after me or something like that.
All right.
Where so look, you can think he's wrong for sure. Like, I don't know how he defends the World Health Organization. Even Wired called them out.
Yeah, I don't get that.
But that's just me thinking he's wrong. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But, he did the segment where he was like, if I do it, he basically just went through all these stories where he's like, these sections of like the left will attack me if I say this. And I was like, that was awesome.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I respect that.
He almost gets it.
No, I think not everyone's going to grant everything. I think he probably watches certain content that shapes his worldview. My only concern is not whether or not you're on the left, you're on the right, you're communist, you're whatever. It's that you actually want to have a real conversation about what you think. And while I certainly don't think he's perfect, I really do like Kyle Kalinske as like a commentator. I think like he's also wrong on a lot of things. And when I say they're wrong on a lot of things, I don't mean they're always wrong on everything or mostly wrong. I think there's key issues that I disagree with him on. That's about it. But there's a few people I think do a good job. Now, here's the thing. The people I don't like, I'm not going to say their names. And
right.
there are a lot of them. There are some, like, I've had conversations with some really high profile people about some of these progressive commentators. Like, this person is trash. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Because we know when they're lying.
Right.
It's total. Like, who's really cool actually is Jimmy Dore. That guy's probably the best. He like
cool, yeah.
rips the Democrats apart. But he's like more on the left. He's like a Bernie, like anti-establishment, anti-Democrat.
Him and Bill Maher.
Well, I mean, Jimmy's much more to the left.
Oh, is he really?
Bill
Maher.
Yeah,
Bill's more libertarian. You're right.
Yeah, Bill Maher's like the classic liberal or whatever liberals were supposed to be a long time ago.
Yeah.
He ragged on China. He did this whole segment saying we got to blame China, and what did the Daily Beast call it? Like
horrifyingly racist,
despicably, or like disgustingly racist. Like, shut up.
It was not racist at all. It was him ranting about it.
Wait,
it's logical.
This is what I love, though. I love
made sense.
Criticizing a religion is racist, and criticizing communism is racist. Oh, shut up, lunatics. All right, yeah. So, but J-Max's partisan lines are definitely getting wider, for sure. I mean, I'd love to have a conversation with David about how we could support the World Health Organization. Wired magazine came out and said they were feeding us disinformation.
Yep.
So that's not even a partisan issue. I think
for a while now.
I think it might be just where you get your information from.
True.
And if you watch MSNBC, they're not going to tell you the truth because they don't want to lose the ratings.
Right.
Like Rachel Maddow once claimed that Russia might shut off the electricity to Fargo in the winter. Who knows? I swear to God.
Like what?
It was like the weirdest conspiracy level. Like, dude, calm down, man. No one's going to shut off the electricity. What are you talking about? Whatever, though, man. That gamer says CNN and other left-wing media are simps to China. Indeed. You know it.
Yep.
Let's see. I can't pronounce this, but thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
El Justice. Harry says, hello, kids, and the hidden hottie. Chiron Smyron. Does anyone think the country will reopen soon? I do. I feel like we're getting close, but it's hard to know for sure.
Agreed.
The numbers out of New York are promising.
Yeah.
David and Matt, thanks for becoming members.
Thank you.
Mr. Paul R. says, you read Newsweek article, coronavirus spreads from dead body in first case of its kind. So I just lose the beanie. Hi, lovely Lydia. Thumbs up.
It's hit or miss depending on if my hair's annoying me or not.
Yeah.
There you go. That's fair.
iCurious says, I want that globe. Here's $0 for it. Is that a 0? Or you meant to put 10? Michael, thanks for becoming a member.
Thanks.
Keith Rogers says, man, the show is awesome. I walk back from the lake every evening at 6 p.m. Eastern so I can fix up supper and feed the animals before you start at 7. Thank y'all for the great show. Keep it up. Roll Tide.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
DC Pagan says, the only reason why we are not yet in war with China is because Trump is biding time for Space Force.
Correct.
Oh, yeah. We probably have, like, crazy Space Force. What was that thing we talked about before from G.I. Joe, the tungsten rod?
Oh, yeah.
The satellite releases just a giant metal rod and then slams into the earth and blows up.
Scary, yeah.
I hope we don't have that.
Well, I mean, we already were doing stuff in space, weren't we? It was just portions from each different force would come and do specific things, and now they just made it one.
Remember the story of the sonic weapons?
Yeah.
That's what's scary. people would hear a weird noise and then get sick and then have like vision loss and stuff.
That's what they thought was happening at the embassy down in South America.
All over.
Oh, man.
Energy weapons, dude.
Oof.
Yeah,
Radio,
World War III is going to be not what we think.
People are going to like melt in their beds, their brains inside their skulls, like microwaves and stuff. No, it'll be slow and you'll be going like, your brain boils inside your skull.
All right, too many movies.
Yeah. Pushy, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Skater says, Tim, ever played Metal Gear Solid 2? I feel like it predicted the future of social media and meme culture. Check out this guy's video. The most profound moment in gaming history by Max Darrett. I will. Check it out.
Never played that one.
All right, let's see. Where are we at? Augustine says, hey, Tim, awesome show as always. Just one question. Have you mastered your Anchorman Will Ferrell yet? And if you have, please say, Beanie Man Brigade Assemble. Next live stream, please. I haven't. I have not watched Anchorman.
You got to work on it, dude.
Can't do it. Maybe.
That was the second super chat by that person.
Yeah.
So if they super chatted again, I'm calling you out.
I have to go and watch the movie.
I'm calling you out. You got to do it. If they do it again, you got to do it.
I'll watch a video and try and get that voice down.
Okay, good.
Joseph, thanks for becoming a member. George says, Tim, what do you think about QAnon? Do you think Trump has been actively fighting a deep state or an establishment? Or do you think it's just hope porn to placate people? I don't know a lot about QAnon. I know a lot of people who don't go near it because the people, like higher profile people on Twitter who have actually talked about it, said it's complete bunk and BS. And that's the only thing I really know about it because I have little interest.
I do think that the deep state is always there. I think it's there through every administration. This is just the people who work for
they
the
call
government.
They've officially called it permanent government.
Yeah.
And the way I explain it is that when someone is appointed to a national security position, it doesn't matter who's elected, they stay there. So like if Bush appoints somebody, then Obama gets elected, then Trump gets elected, that person's there for the entire government, like throughout multiple decades. So those are the people who are advising and controlling how we handle certain policies. I think Trump is fighting an establishment. I don't think it's like a nefarious cabal of like secret organizations, Bilderberg or whatever. I think it's special interests. They tend to know each other because they're wealthy and well-connected.
Yeah.
And they don't like Trump and they tweet about it. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think they're openly telling you they're doing it. Like, we know they're doing it. They think Trump is the worst thing that's ever happened. And that's what he's up against. It's just what it is,
Shaking him up.
Shadow says, what that dude said, that he only had 3 mags is weird. I'm an artilleryman and I've had 7 30-round mags during my deployment. Well, I guess you guys know better. I don't know.
Different experiences, yeah.
Holden says, just thought I'd like you know that Safe and Ready Meals is out of stock. Oh, whoa, is it really?
Oh, we should check on that.
The last I saw, they were out of stock on the 2-week supply, but the 4-week was still there. I wouldn't be surprised, man. Emergency food, get it while it's hot.
Yep.
Well, get it while it's freeze-dried and
hot.
stored. 45, yeah. 7th Sea Sailor says, been sick during outbreak on carrier years ago. It's not a good place for outbreaks. That said, what the captain did is contrary to the big picture of carriers. That captain didn't have an easy choice.
Right.
Bummer. Frankie, thanks for the super chat. Let's see. Where are we at? There we go. Roddy says, I wanted to just throw into discussion that China for years has been in a regime civil war between Xi and Jiang Zemin with tons of purges, and we might see them start to crumble worse internally. Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, interesting.
Paxton says, tungsten rods are what we have because Russia puts nukes on a satellite in the 80s, and everyone collectively said nukes in space are illegal. Tungsten rods are a loophole. Oh, interesting. It was the G.I. Joe movie. They blow up London. All of London is wiped out.
Yeah, it's only in movies. Because I was looking it up. I was like, what is this? Why have I never heard of this? Yeah, it's because it's only in movies.
Enough.
All right.
We must talk about the most important story of our generation.
Indeed.
Oh,
Amber Heard pooped on Johnny Depp's bed. Why? Why would she do it?
Oh my gosh.
Well,
She's sick in the head.
Yeah,
as the world
seriously.
burns down around us, perhaps it's fun and important to kind of get a good relaxing story about some celebrity female in a feud of a battle of allegations and abuse, and the latest story. The real story is that the petition to remove Amber Heard from Aquaman 2 has almost reached 400,000 signatures. I agree. Get her out of there.
400,001.
But you know what?
That's my signature.
That's Adam's.
Going on as soon as I find how to do this.
This was a tough call for me, right? The abuse allegations were serious, and as soon as I heard and saw that audio, I was like, get her out, get her out. But then when I heard she pooped on Johnny Depp's bed, I was like, bring her back. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. So let's read the story.
Do you have some sort of fetish I don't know
It's
about?
a joke.
Oh gosh, no.
No, let me tell you. It's the Family Guy joke where they're at the police auction and they're like the underwear of a prostitute.
Okay.
And Quagmire goes $40, and he was like, and when he was like, I can't remember what he said, but he's like, oh yeah, he's like, she soiled herself when we caught her, and he goes $45, and it's like,
my
and she had some
gosh.
STDs, and he goes $40, like he goes back down, he still wants them or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Gross.
The petition to get Amber Heard removed as Mira from Aquaman 2 is getting very close to reaching 400K signatures on change.org. Over the past few weeks, there's been a noticeable surge in the number of people signing this petition. I remember when the petition hadn't passed 100K, and there was a huge jump in the number of people signing it. I think the main reason why people have felt so strongly that Heard should play Mira in Aquaman 2 is all the evidence that she should have come out against her in the past few weeks. Amber Heard had previously claimed she was the victim of domestic abuse while she was married to Johnny Depp. She went on in public with bruises on her face, and she claimed that he was abused during their time together.
Abusive?
No, but this is poorly written.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed that.
What is
Not
this
the first
website?
time they've.
There
said
have
that.
been recordings leaked of the two of them, and they make it quite clear who was abusing who. There have been court documents which paint a very bad picture for the Aquaman actress. Here we go. Drum roll, please.
Okay.
She reportedly defecated on Johnny Depp's bed. Heard cut his finger in two. She also threw a tin of paint at his face.
Wait,
Yeah.
she actually did cut his finger in two?
Yeah.
I think
Cut his
that
finger off?
She
severed it.
like sliced it down the middle almost,
Yeah.
I thought.
Because someone made a super chat about that. I didn't know she actually cut him.
Yeah, he went to the hospital.
Now I gotta say, I don't know if this is real. Did she really?
What is going on? Why? What is wrong with her?
She's a
I don't know if I
terrible
believe
person.
this story about her pooping on the bed.
Really?
It said
Like-
reportedly, right? We don't know the truth.
Right.
Pooped on his bed. Well, hold on. We got this story
Well, if
from.
he got cut, and like Johnny Depp could say, "Yeah, she cut me."
Is there anything in this? We have another story where Johnny Depp fans say Amber Heard deserves jail after resurfaced video shows actor with prominent bruise. The clip, which has been uploaded on Twitter with the hashtag Justice for Johnny Depp, was of Depp's guest appearance on the Graham Norton show in November 2015. Oh, interesting. So there's evidence of this in like mainstream TV shows. Fans of Johnny Depp claim to have uncovered further proof the actor was physically abused by Amber Heard in a video where he is seemingly sporting a bruise under his eye during a television interview. The clip, which was uploaded on Twitter, we saw that with Graham Norton show. In it, he's talking about some of the quirky characters he's played over the years and the creative process behind some alongside Sherlock and Avengers star Benedict Cumberbatch. The pair had appeared together to discuss their biographical crime drama film Black Mass. As Norton talks to him about his roles, the camera zooms into his left eye, where he has a prominent bruise before cutting to a snap of Captain Jack Sparrow. While there is no indication from the actor's end that he had been injured during the interview, his fans have insisted that he was while blaming Amber Heard and called for him to be reinstated into the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
Here, here.
Yes.
Yeah, but are they really making more of those movies?
Yeah, I mean,
Why
people
not?
watch it.
I guess.
I mean,
You know,
I'm not necessarily saying like, man, people are beating stories to death over and over. It's like, let's make some new stories. Pirates of the the West Indies.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know. It's
I'll-
some random thing, but
Right.
I'll go see it only
Make
because of this, to
something
be
new.
honest. Like,
well,
she tries to
I
destroy-
won't see Aquaman 2 if she's in it.
I agree.
Oh, yeah,
I
me
won't do
either.
it.
No
Yep.
Nope,
way.
I'm not
Principle.
going to do it.
Yep.
For me, it's about the double standards. Like, you have this big Me Too movement.
Yeah,
No sane person likes domestic abuse in any direction.
yeah.
But so what's really annoying to me is that she got away with it for as long as she did. Like, Johnny got fired from Pirates of the Caribbean over this.
Yep.
He's the victim.
Yeah.
Get her out of there, man.
Exactly.
You know, I don't normally like to. Well, it's tough. Sometimes there are issues where I'm like, that's a red line for me. I won't support this company.
Okay.
I've said in the past that if a company ever tries to get into like culture war issues, I'm out. But I've kind of softened up on this. Like, there was something that happened with Hulu, I think, where they tweeted some ridiculously stupid Halloween thing, like, make sure not to wear culturally appropriating costumes. And I'm like, shut up. You're a streaming service for TV shows. I don't need your opinion on politics.
Yeah.
So I canceled it. I was like, count me out. If you want to get political, I don't want to do anything with your service. But then I thought that was kind of like snowflakey in a sense. My main point was I don't want to be involved. But then I was kind of like, you know what? If a company is going to do something, I don't care what the company's doing. I don't care. You know, there's a difference between what Chick-fil-A does and who they donate to behind the scenes and what a company publicly announces they want or support.
Okay.
But ultimately, like, you know what? I'm not going to care that much. However, this is different. This is a woman who it's more individual than it is about like what companies do.
Yeah.
Right.
Amber Heard, like almost ruined Johnny Depp's life over this.
Yep.
I'm not a fan. I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
I want justice for Johnny Depp.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, my personal part about it, like I have a friend from high school who had a girl claim that he raped her, and then 2 years later, after he's been in prison the whole time, admitted that he never did, and she was just upset because he broke up with her, and she lied, and she didn't go to jail or anything for that. He got out of prison, and he was let free, and it's like, sorry, we took 2 of your years away because we just instantly believed this girl.
Yep.
And it's like, that's a huge issue. That was a good friend of mine who lost 2 years of his life because this girl was believed. Simply, no questions asked, threw him in prison for 2 years.
Man.
It's like,
So-
this kind of stuff really like upsets me. You know, it's like, I want, you know, it's like, I'm not saying I don't believe women. I'm saying find the information that's true and innocent until proven guilty, right?
Yes. And what bothers me about all of this is that the default is always it's always a weird cultural political thing.
Yeah.
Like with the Joe Biden thing going on right now, I tweeted something like, you know, Joe Biden's been credibly accused and Bernie endorsed him.
Yeah.
And then some anti-Trump guy responded like, you shouldn't trust her accusation. And I'm like, why not? Believe all women.
Yeah, right.
That's what we were told every step of the way. Like, it's time to start believing the women. Well, we did it with Johnny Depp, and it was fake news, and we did it with, you know,
Brett Kavanaugh.
well, yeah, and that was mostly fake news too. A bunch of those people who accused Kavanaugh walked their accusations back or apologized or recanted outright. So at this point, they've had a bad string of luck with propping up people who turn out to be liars.
Yeah.
Like, why choose you didn't have to pick Amber Heard. And then she gets exposed as making this stuff up, basically.
Yeah.
And
You
apparently
know-
pooping on someone's bed.
Aquaman 1 wasn't really that good. It was an okay movie. I'd give it like a 6.2. But you know what I don't remember from the film? Amber Heard.
I agree.
I don't.
Yeah, what'd she do in it?
I don't
Forgettable.
remember her at all.
Oh, she ate a flower, right?
I remember really cool underwater fighting scenes and like huge armies of fish, which is dope.
Yeah.
And that's
Dude, it
big
was
waves. Yeah, I mean, there's some cool parts in that movie, but she was not in it.
I want to see Aquaman too.
Oh, now you want to see it?
I don't want to see it with her in it.
There
definitely
it is.
wanna see
There
it.
it is.
I
Yeah.
definitely want to
Yeah.
see
I
it.
would like to see the movie, but I will care significantly less about it if she's in the movie.
I'll just feel like, I don't know.
It's gonna pull me
It's-
out of the movie. I'm gonna be like,
Right.
"There's that girl that ruined
Oh,
Johnny
yeah.
Depp's
Well, Johnny
Experience ruined.
Almost.
almost." Well,
Right.
either way, there she is. I'm looking at Amber Heard, not whatever character she's playing in Aquaman 2.
I got to be honest.
You know what I mean?
I'm not going to think that at all.
No.
When I watch that and I see her on the screen, I'm not going to be thinking at all about Johnny Depp. I'm going to be imagining her pooping on a bed. I'm serious. I'm not trying to say that to be funny or like this has become the story.
It's true. It's funny.
Somebody asked us this in the super chat the other day, and I'm like, that can't be real.
Can't be real.
But I've heard it's a rumor. I don't know. Reportedly,
This is
someone
straight from Johnny Depp. This is what he said.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's what
You
he
found
said.
it.
He says 2018, August 2018. He's talking about how he found this little gift on their bed.
Wow.
What's the source?
Him. Well, it's from multiple different sources.
So she
Yeah.
did it. So now
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching her, and there's going to be this epic battle scene, and he's going to be like, Mira, come help. And I'm going to see her, and all I'm going to think is her just like, with, just, you know,
no.
Wait,
squatting
and she's
down.
wearing like a really thin or a tight suit, right? You think you're gonna like look at her butt and be like, "Do you think there's poop in there?"
Oh, no.
Well, there
Do
is.
you think she's pooping
Of course
right
there's
now?
poop in there.
No, like in her suit.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No. Too much.
Dude, she's the poop lady now.
I just Googled her.
Johnny Depp made her the poop lady.
I just Googled her, and the first thing that comes up, petition, remove Amber Heard from Aquaman 2.
Yeah.
They got to do it.
This is the first thing that
So
comes
we
up.
got toilet girl, then we got poop lady.
Poop
Non-toilet
lady.
girl.
Yeah, the no toilet girl. Ba-doonch.
Oh.
You know,
Oh man.
look, I think everybody deserves second chances. If she came out and said, you know, what I went through with Johnny Depp was a mistake and I feel terrible about it. I'm so sorry to everybody and my fans. I hope Johnny can find it in his heart to forgive me or whatever. I'd be like, what do you say, Johnny? Like, bygones be bygones. We can move forward and give her another chance.
Yeah, I'd look to Johnny and be like, "What do you think?" here?"
Right. And then
He's going to be like, I don't believe her. I'd be like, well,
it's not about
I gotta
that.
go with Johnny here.
It's if she came out and owned up to the mistakes she made and apologized, I'd be inclined to say, I'll go see your movie. But she didn't. She came out and said, Johnny Depp did it. He hit me. He did this to me.
Yeah.
And then Johnny had to release the recordings where she's like, so what? You're a baby. So what? I hit you. And I'm like, boom.
I'm a girl. No one will believe you.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That
I'm
was
a
it.
little
That
girl.
line
Yep.
right there is
I
exactly
know.
why I won't go see this movie.
Exactly. That's
She
so
was
messed
like,
up.
see how many people believe you.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
dude, I'll tell you what. You want to know what I'll believe? I'll believe that I will not see your movie.
Yep.
I believe that I hate you now.
Not interested.
Not interested at all.
Yep.
No
but
thanks.
I'm definitely interested in Aquaman. So here's the problem with Aquaman 1. It was almost a really good movie, but there was a weird composition like things. The music didn't fit. Like you know
Okay.
the scene when the Manta guy, his dad's dying in the submarine,
Yeah.
and it's like playing this dramatic music, and he's like fighting his way out.
Right,
It just
right.
did not work.
Yeah, that was a weird scene, actually.
And
I
I'm
agree.
like,
that
the
was
music-
a little, it felt a little much.
don't
Like, they
f-
didn't need to. There's some of the scenes in that movie that were like, why?
It didn't make me
what's
feel.
The point?
Didn't make me feel anything. I was
Right,
like,
exactly.
You didn't
But they
get
were
it.
really trying. They were pushing it.
Yep.
That's what it was.
But the visuals of that big undersea battle was awesome.
I love the undersea creatures. You know what I really liked about it? When is it the brother? I think it's the brother, the prince or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like explaining why he's going to war. It actually makes a lot of sense.
legit reason.
And I was like, oh man, he's right. Like
Yup.
we as humans have been dumped. The ocean has been a dump for us. We've been like, it's the ocean's messed up. The whole
Yup.
ecosystem's like relearning how to live right now. So, and his argument is like, they've just been pooping on us like Amber Heard for years.
Yes, yes. You know what I'd like to see? The movie can start, and it literally starts with him being like, you know, he's walking down the street, and he's like, oh, Mira, come with me. And then she walks to cross the street, and then a bus just hits her, and then she's out of the movie. That's it. It's over. And then
No
he's like,
explanation.
oh, she's gone. And then as soon as he says that, then he's like, his phone rings. He's like, oh, man, I better get this. And he just leaves. That's it. She's gone. No one says anything else. It's like, we rode her out with the bus.
I mean, do we really even need to have anything? Couldn't
I'm
it just
kidding, of
couldn't they
course
just
not.
have the movie and just not have her in it and just that's it. Just done.
This is interesting, man. I'm glad to see that Johnny Depp's getting this kind of support. I mean, there are a lot of even like social justice-y like feminists who have come out and supported this guy,
Yeah.
Johnny Depp, and
Nice.
I respect it. I wish that they would stop just blanket believing anybody, because I don't care if you're a man, woman, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, whatever.
Exactly. Boom.
If you got the proof.
I feel you, bro.
So you know what? When they say like believe all women, I'm like, yes, at face value, and then you investigate, trust but verify.
Right.
So if you come to me and say this happened, I'll say I will
Right.
take it seriously, and I will operate off of the assumption that you are telling me the truth.
Yeah.
I will not go destroy someone's life. I will not arrest them. We will go and gather evidence.
Yep.
If we can't prove it, nothing happens.
Boom. 100%
But they want
agree.
but they want to change the standards, and this is what happens. So I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
I probably
people take advantage.
would
do.
not have gone and seen a new Pirates movie, but because of this, I definitely will.
I
Yep.
will too,
And
Agreed.
for sure.
Now I'm gonna be like, I like this Johnny Depp guy.
Johnny
I'm gonna see his
Depp's
movie.
an incredible actor.
He's a cool dude.
I
He's
enjoy
done some
him.
really awesome movies
He's quirky.
outside
Totally.
of Pirates. I mean, Pirates it's fun. But,
Yeah.
But as far as like as acting goes, he's really good.
So I guess I can just, my final thought is I wish Johnny Depp well in his career, and I wish him clean sheets.
For sure. And since they're divorced, it probably will be more likely for
Yes.
him now.
Oh man.
My wish will come true.
Yes,
Yep.
correct.
Clean sheets for Johnny Depp.
Indeed.
All
Hashtag,
right.
hashtag clean sheets.
We should change the hashtag from justice for Johnny Depp to clean sheets for Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Yes. All right, let's grab some more super chats. Let's see where we are at. I think we were talking about tungsten rods or something.
Yeah.
There we go. Yep. Bad Dragonite says, great show. Hope to see you with Rekieta again sometime. Yeah, possibly in the future. Not a Band Account says, how many more freedoms should we give up to feel safe? We gave up the right to assemble or exercise religion. Maybe if we abolish the third or the fourth. Oh, the Third Amendment's got to go, man. I would like the U.S. military to quarter themselves in my house, because then you're safe. You got a soldier right there sleeping in your bed. Now you can sleep on the floor.
I hope they're nice.
That's a third, right? No quarter for the government.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that they can't use your house. But think about how safe you would feel with no Third Amendment.
I mean, I guess. I mean, military, you would try to target the military in a battle. So if they're at your house, you're more like exposed as far as like being a target for something to attack.
U.S. Army showed up and they were like, we're going to put these people in your house. You're going to have soldiers in your house. How much safer could you be than having the soldiers right there?
They're a messy bunch.
Whoa. That's assuming a lot there.
That's militarist.
Yeah.
Militarist. Soldierist.
Militarist.
Soldierist.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Good try.
Dar L says, motto in the U.S. post-pandemic, Hail Hydra. Oh, yeah.
Hail Hydra.
Slava Booze says, there are muffins under the beanies when they are hungry. Nom, nom, nom. That's right. That's why the change camera views take a nom. Well, I do have a can of soda, and when the camera changes, I take, it's like it'll go to Adam. I'm like,
I was like, Tim's getting thirsty. Quick, change
Yep.
camera.
Darth Zackett says, what is your opinion of Jimmy Dore cowardly sneaking and spitting on Alex Jones? At least Anna fat shamed him to his face. I don't know anything about. Oh, wait, was that in 2016 or something? I don't know.
No idea.
I don't recall hearing
I would
about
not be a fan. I don't know much about that. I like Jimmy Dore. I would not condone that kind of behavior. We're going to read more, but make sure you follow us. Our usernames are above our head, at Timcast, at Adam Krigler.
Yep.
And
me up. Send me any information you find on some conspiracies, some cool things you want us to talk about. We don't hit them all up, but like today, I brought up the elephant walk.
Yeah.
So
a lot of these
cool.
stories actually we end up picking
So
them
if
up.
you sent me that, it might have been because of you that we talked about that. So
And
thanks.
You can also really help out by sharing. If you think the show is good, word of mouth is the way we overcome. I'll put it simply. YouTube props up mainstream media and downranks and removes channels like this. So we really do rely on good old word of mouth.
So thank you.
Yeah. Student of History says, fun story you may enjoy. The U.S. is looking to possibly rework the B-1 Lancers to become long-range air-to-air missile platform with the ability to delete 40 aircraft, especially if the enemy is Gen 3 or 4. Yikes. Douglas says, DPA of 1950 to force the economy to save USA. What is, Defense Production Act. That's what they're doing, right?
Yeah, that's what's in place now.
J-Mac, thanks for the super chat. Grimly says, Tim, I've been on the front line in Call of Duty for years. I can confirm only 3 mags. Also, Amber really shat that bed on this time. There you go. Big Al says, I was R the Donald from the start. Rip. Q and Pizzagate are movements, not specific theories. They're mostly just specific crowdsourced researching. Interesting. Cracklin says, are your beanies at least 6 feet apart? If not, use your Chidori. They are, in fact.
They are, yeah.
Nicely on the wall. Chidori. Slap the console. The tungsten rods are called kinetic bombardment. Also, I recommend the game Neo Scavenger to prepare for the apocalypse. It's an old school turn-based game with combat and crafting, and it's only $15. Sounds fun. NYBSFP says Depp threatened to us. Whoa, did he actually do that? I don't even want to read that. He said something very bad about the president. And then this person says, I have no pity for him. Wow. Prog Metal Deity says Metal Gear 2, government builds AI to censor the web. That's not good. Jim Keel says SJ reaches for Tim's beanie, pulling it down to cover his eyes. Shh, it's better if you don't watch, Timmy, whispered SJ. Oh, soy Jesus.
Oh.
Tim quivering responds, please just be gentle. JS he, Tim, no. Thank you for the graphic fan fiction.
Oh, please stop. Just kidding.
Prog Metal Deity, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
And let's see where we at. There we go. No Control says uninstalled Waze for telling me not to drive during the quarantine. Really? I'd love to see that.
Oh, man.
Connor Stevens says it was incidental that Amber cut the tip of his finger off. Nerdette's newsstand here on YouTube has covered this very well. I recommend checking her out. Will do. Brave New Perth says, what is your take on Russian Eurasianism, the international Eurasian movement, and Russia's grand strategy, Greater Eurasia? I don't know anything about it.
Same.
Thu Nguyen says, Amber pooped the bed and there are witnesses. Well then. Let's see. UEO request, look into Washington State Equity Task Force, Benjamin Boyce. Will do.
Wait, hold on. Witnesses, plural? So there's multiple people that witnessed her pooping on the bed.
Wow.
Oh,
What kind of
I
a
didn't see
situation
that.
is going on there?
I don't care to think about that.
A scatological one?
Was it like a poop party?
She's an actress. She's
Like
got to have an audience.
Amber
man.
turd.
live streaming it?
Cracklin says,
my
BRB
gosh.
got to take an Amber.
Oh my gosh. That's what I'm going to start
Yes,
saying.
chat's on
Freaking
fire.
Yes.
Well, I have friends named Amber. They don't deserve that.
Yeah.
That ruined it for him. Sorry.
No, the
Sorry,
name's
all
ruined.
Ambers
Sorry,
out there
Ambers.
everywhere.
Change your names.
Connor says, Tim, how long do you think it'll take until we all collectively get so fed up with the commies that we just start shooting them? I don't want it to happen, mind you, but at this point, it seems like an inevitability. No, that won't happen. Not in any foreseeable future based on just politics.
Yeah.
And I don't, it depends on what you mean by commie. I mean, if like people are going out roving bands, causing chaos and trying to revolt or start a revolution, the police will come in and do it, you know? Bobcat says, what do you think about orbital rings as the future of space access? I think they'll solve terrestrial problems to make them worth exploring now.
Is that like the movie Elysium?
Maybe.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So
Space station's a big ring.
Yeah. And that spins so they have
Yeah.
the gravity.
Right.
And it's interesting. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly it or maybe like a full-on ring around the whole
Yeah.
Earth. It's probably more like Elysium, but
Yeah.
it would be
I don't know.
interesting. I mean, we are definitely moving into space. That is
excited
inevitable
for
and
it.
it's happening.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Atlas says, Tim, when I was in jail, a guy called Expletive Hands would crap, then wipe with his hands, and then wash his hands and not use toilet paper. He would be the only one laughing when we have no more TP. Don't do drugs. I
Oh my
won't.
gosh.
Keith, thanks for becoming a member. John Reese
Thank
says,
you.
you missed my first chat, Tim. John, I'm sorry. Harold Bolin, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Buck Rockgroin says, turd wave feminism is a movement that consists of nothing but stupid, spoiled, rich white girls. Tim, you can't get quality leadership when you've got nothing but malignant narcissists to choose from. I agree with that.
Man,
Yep.
third wave.
Ryan M
feminism.
says, cheers from NZ. Appreciate it.
Nice. What up?
New Carbine says, tungsten rods are especially dangerous as a precision weapon. Can penetrate any and all underground bunkers. Any military facilities be doomed. No escape. Whoa.
Scary.
GMU says, Tim, thoughts on Bill O'Reilly? Leftists love to hate him, and he was a bit cantankerous for my taste, but he has a huge following. Never been a big fan. I mean, I remember that one thing where he was like, sun goes up, sun goes down. You can't explain that. Tide goes in. Remember that? He was like, tide goes in, tide goes out. You can't explain that.
Yes, you
Sun
can.
goes up. And the guy who was interviewing goes,
What?
Are you being serious?
Seriously.
We explained that 500 years ago.
Oh my
we know how this
gosh.
works. Bill, I've never,
Yikes.
I've never actually watched a whole lot of Bill O'Reilly, so I would, for the most part, reserve judgment. I only have peripheral reports to go on, and I don't think it's fair to use smear pieces to judge a guy who I never watched.
Okay.
I will say of the things I've seen of him, I have never been a big fan. For that being said, I'm not a fan of Rachel Maddow. I am also not a big fan of Sean Hannity.
Don Lemon.
Don Lemon's is the worst. I don't think it's fair to compare Hannity to Don Lemon or Rachel Maddow for sure, but I do find him to be bombastic. Tucker Carlson's probably one of the best on cable TV, period. He's absolutely fantastic. What is this? White Hot Pepper says, is Shrek an incel? I don't know.
No, he gets a girlfriend.
He gets married.
It's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
he get married.
He has kids, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah.
So does Donkey, for
Yeah, I
that
think so.
matter.
Yeah.
Does he?
With
The little
the
dragon.
donkey.
Yeah.
Ah, such a cute movie.
He gets down with the dragon.
Julian Borges says, favorite Johnny Depp performance. I really like him as Edward Scissorhands, and he had the coolest death in Nightmare on Elm Street. Pardon the spoiler.
He's,
Oh,
yeah,
he was on that? I mean, the original Pirates is a classic. It's
True.
It's epic.
The
It's Jack
original
Sparrow.
Pirates
Yeah.
is amazing. Yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
right. It's a
The
killer
ones
movie.
after that,
Perfect cast.
not so much.
But it's for his kids. You
Is
know
that what
that,
he's
right? His kids loved Johnny Depp in those movies so much, and he said, "I'll keep doing them as long as you want me to." And they were like, "Make another one."
That's cute.
And he did. And they're make another one.
They
And
make
he
$1 billion.
did. And he
Everybody wants
kept
to see
doing
it.
it. Yeah. So
Yeah, they're
Man, I
fun.
love
I
it.
can't believe how long they've
they're
been doing
fun.
it.
Yeah.
They are.
Here we go. Pei Chen Wu says, just learned VA of TF2 soldier died from COVID-19. Whoa, from COVID?
Interesting.
Whoa. Tanya says, Johnny Depp did suggest something really bad about the president, which is despicable. I'm not going to read that. That being said, the movement to only believe women is scary and unconstitutional. Innocent until proven guilty. I agree.
Exactly.
He apologized for his quotation. by
Oh,
the way.
he did.
Yeah, it was 2017. Nobody liked
Ah,
him very
okay.
much.
Sean Easton says, Soy Jesus, show us the way.
Nice. Although whey is from
is milk.
dairy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
No. Boo.
All right, everybody.
no thanks.
Well, I think it's high time we left these parts.
Indeed.
So if you haven't already, hitting the like button really, really does help. I really mean it.
Yes, it does.
as
And
we-
sharing really does help too.
Yes. But
Thank you.
you can follow us at Timcast, at Adam Krigler.
Yep, there I am
Hit
right
the,
there.
hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the notification bell. All of these things really, really help.
Stuff to do.
We're going to be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we are Monday through Friday. But we're also on all podcast platforms. So another thing you can really do if you end up doing this, go on iTunes, or if you're on iTunes and you look up the TimcastIRL podcast, give us a good review, and it'll help us like boost our ratings. subscribe or follow the podcast on those platforms as well. But you can always catch us live and join in with the super chats. Although we can't get to everybody, I really do try. So I apologize if I couldn't get to everyone. But I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for hanging out. And I guess we'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Sounds good.
Bye, guys.
Adios.
Good night.